Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with Riv and Andrew Velez, and this is now episode 92. In this episode, we'll talk about the 76ers fourth quarter collapse in Game 4, if the Jazz are in trouble, the Nets injuries, the KD Warriors versus the KD Nets, Draymond's top 5 under 25 list, and the recent reports about Luka's frustration about the Mavs organization. Then we'll talk about football and talk about Danielle Hunter and the Vikings working out a new deal, Le'Veon Bell calling out Andy Reid, Matt Nagy's comments on Justin Fields, and ESPN projecting the Jets being the worst team in the football next season. And the topic list that I sent you guys out does not feature that Justin Fields topic.
All right.
That's because it was breaking news. Matt Nagy just said that he's not going to be the starter week 1. At least he doesn't think so. Okay. So I was like, I'll just put the topic in there right now.
Wait, you sent this a Justin Fields topic?
No, he didn't. That's what he just said, yeah.
I was like,
yeah, it was a surprise. That's what Matt Nagy says.
Yeah, he said Andy Dolan's starting.
Yeah, week 1.
It's not the worst idea.
It's just like, bro.
Listen, Mahomes sat.
I'm just going to go into Madden and edit the flames out of him to like a 90 overall, and then I'm going to start him.
So if you guys would like to, you guys can rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and write a review if you would wish to. And before the podcast started, you guys were getting into this debate about Anthony Davis and Giannis, and I wanted to ask you to start off the show and the audience. Game 211, who wins in a one-on-one, Anthony Davis or Giannis? Who do you guys have?
Bro, I'll probably take like one-on-one. It's straight brute force. I'm gonna take Giannis.
Okay.
Because he's just gonna bully him until he gets to the point.
Okay. You think Anthony Davis is gonna allow that every single time?
Anthony Davis is like 220, soaking wet.
And he's still probably the best rim protector in the NBA.
Over Giannis?
It's Gobert or him.
I mean, rim protecting. This
Gobert
is
is better.
Yeah, but
exactly. I agree.
This is one-on-one. He has
My
to guard
point.
him straight up.
Okay.
I mean, if he stands back.
If there was anyone I'd want to guard him, it's Anthony Davis.
You think so?
High key.
Because if he stands back, this is a one-on-one.
Okay.
So he's just going to – it's no 3 seconds in the key, 5 seconds back to the basket. This is just Giannis can just post him up,
but if
grown man him,
okay,
and then just dunk the ball.
If AD didn't have the size that he did, then maybe I'd understand your point. And if AD didn't have the ability to shoot the 3 ball, even though this year he was kind of mediocre compared to last season, maybe I'd feel you. But it's still Anthony Davis. He's still lock up on defense. Man can shoot. Giannis. I mean, can Giannis guard him?
Better. He can.
Then AD can guard Giannis?
I've seen Giannis bully AD.
That's what I'm – bro, he like people that frame cannot stay with Giannis. They're too small. AD is like what? Maybe a little bit bulkier than KD. Maybe a little bit.
Okay. So what's the score then?
I would say 11.
Because that's what. Okay.
11-8 Giannis.
What do you think?
I think it's around there too.
Really? You think Giannis is beating AD?
I think 11. Yeah, because unless Anthony Davis forces Giannis to shoot jump shots, but even then he can't because Giannis is going to just drive in. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Davis can stop Giannis in a one-on-one.
I don't know.
There's no help defense. There's no.
But that's fine. Defense. It's not like Anthony Davis really needs help. You guys are talking about Anthony Davis's defense.
How many people
like
can
not that good.
realistically stop Giannis from getting to the paint without help?
So Kawhi Leonard did it, and he's not 6'10".
He had a wall.
Kawhi Leonard did it. He's not 6'10",
Kawhi,
6'11".
I believe this is maybe a hot take, but Kawhi is stronger than Anthony Davis.
Why are you talking so spicy on Anthony Davis?
Is he not?
He's stronger than
Kawhi
Anthony
is
Davis.
strong.
Kawhi's mad strong, bro.
You got an hour later right there, Brody.
Bro, Kawhi's stronger.
He's
really strong, bro. Like he's really strong.
So you're saying if AD wasn't 6'11", he would be working at KFC?
Wait, what? No, if he wasn't 6'11", he'd probably be Andrew Wiggins.
Really? You wouldn't even give him the benefit of the doubt and call him Drew Holiday?
Okay.
Right? Like, it's not like Anthony Davis is a scrub. He has pretty good handle for 6'10". Giannis does not have handle. He has no bag. We saw him against Blake Griffin. He has no bag. Yeah. AD at least could cross him up a little bit.
You didn't give us a score, though.
I'm taking AD. It's 11-10. That game is as close as it gets.
Of course you're taking.
I'm taking AD.
So you're saying Giannis could win that?
I'm not going to say he...
Okay, best of 7 series. What would be the series?
4-3.
AD?
AD. Listen, it's really close. Because on a NBA basis of like who I'd rather in the NBA right now, I'd probably lean Giannis right now because of health. But last season, because of health,
So nothing else.
no. Because off last season, I'm easily taking Anthony Davis over Giannis. But and even this year against the Suns, who carried us? Because I'm not going to say, as much as I love LeBron, AD was the reason we won 2 games.
A healthy AD is better than Giannis, I believe.
It's true.
A healthy AD to you is the second best player in the world. So.
That's not.
No. I did not say that. I said coming off of last year, he proved to be the second best player in the world.
Healthy, he could be top 3.
Whoa.
Healthy, he could be top 3. Anthony Davis.
All right, I'm not even going to get into that because that's ridiculous.
It's not that ridiculous. He can do everything.
He can't be better than Steph. Never in life. He will never be better than Luka. Well, we just
never better than Luka. Never.
What we just in Kevin Durant, LeBron James, even James Harden.
Yeah, will never be better than James.
Yeah,
Harden.
so like
Okay,
that was
well,
5 off.
I'm surprised you're saying that, right?
That was 5 off the rips.
Listen, I will give you KD. I will give you LeBron. Obviously, other than that, he could be better than everyone.
He can't be better than Steph, bro. You got to stop. You got to stop the madness, bro.
I can't. I can't.
I would say 4-1 Giannis series.
4-1.
Every game close.
That is cap.
So, how popular is this candy now or later?
It's relatively popular.
It's relatively
I'm very
popular.
surprised you had no clue about it.
Yeah, because just to tell people that are listening right now, before the show started, I wanted a Jolly Rancher from Riv, and he said, "Do you want it now or later?"
No.
No.
Don't
Don't lie.
Yeah, he said, "Do you want it now or later?" And I thought he said, "Do you want it now or later?" So I kept saying now, and then he said, "Bro, you want an hour later?" I kept saying now because I've never heard of an hour later
Really?
candy. I haven't. I've never heard
It's
of it.
like one of those candies. It's like the cheap candies. Like, you know them candies like the strawberry candies, the candies that be in the strawberry wrappers?
Yes.
It's like
It's
those.
like a cheaper Airhead.
Yeah, it's like those. Like, you don't really see them, but they're around.
So 1 to 10, what would you give it?
It was okay
It was a bad flavor.
You were fiending.
Yeah.
You were fiending for a Jolly Rancher.
Why did you
Yeah.
think I had a Jolly Rancher?
because you brought a Jolly Rancher last time.
That was like a month ago.
No, it wasn't. That was last week.
I did not. Oh, I did. I stole those from my cousin.
Ooh, come up.
No, yeah. So I'm wondering if anybody in the audience has ever heard of an hour later candy.
I'm almost positive though.
Our audience,
85% of the audience
our
knows
audience
it.
is mainly East Coast, right?
The West Coast too.
I seriously doubt they figured it out.
You really don't think so?
I'm willing to gamble that they didn't. It's so different in food and candy and stuff over there. I really don't think they did.
So yesterday there were 2 games that happened: the 76ers versus the Hawks and the Jazz versus the Clippers. Riv is happy that the Clippers won. We're going to get into that in a second.
I'm happy that PG just played
For
incredible.
real. Nah, he bugged last night.
We're going to get into that after this first segment. First, we're going to talk about the Hawks and 76ers. Obviously, I don't want to take anything away from the Hawks because they played absolutely great. And I don't even think Trae Young had his best game, and he still had 25 and 18. I mean, he is at my age. I even asked on Twitter, is there a large separation between Trae Young and Luka?
I saw people getting upset at you.
I don't know if there is. I really don't know if there is. But let's not get into that question. First, let's talk about the series. The 76ers collapsed in the fourth quarter. At least in my view, they did. Joel Embiid shot 0 for 12 in the second half. Ben Simmons was benched in the last play of the game. And in the fourth quarter, he looked like an offensive liability because he wasn't making plays for anybody or himself in that fourth. So who do you think is more to blame for the 76ers collapsing in that fourth quarter of Game 4?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's somebody like to blame. Like, I wouldn't give the entire blame because I feel like the Philadelphia Sixers defense collapsed. And I feel like Embiid didn't show up. You know, he played horrible. But I also have to give credit to Atlanta, not giving up. Trae Young taking over in the stretch like superstars do. Kevin Huerter, who people have been down him, he's been really impressive in this series, definitely showing up. That lineup of him, Trae Young, Gallinari, Capella, that's a really good lineup. Bogdanovich is tough,
dirty,
too.
bro.
He's been balling.
He's been good since Sacramento.
OD.
Yeah,
I wanted him on the Knicks.
And he's a really underrated playmaker,
Imagine
too.
he went to Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I would have picked them to win the championship. If
No
he went
doubt.
there.
No, that would have been. I'd have
No
been,
doubt.
What? But yeah, I think Philly. I think this is just like Philly just collapsed. Game 4, Atlanta. It was a hostile environment, blowing the league. I think Trae Young just got it going. And like you said, if Embiid is not scoring, there's not much they can do. That's their primary offensive guy. That's their go-to guy in the clutch. Their guy didn't show up. Atlanta's guy did show up. So it was just a mano thing. I think Philly has a lot to take from this game, and they have to improve. They were up 18 points, so they can beat this team in a blowout. They can beat this team in a close game. I think they just choked. That's the word I can really describe it in.
Well, as easy as it is to blame him when he's amazing, that obviously he's the main reason why they're winning games. When he has a game like this, it's easy to put the blame on him. You go and you're 4 of 20 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. He had 21 rebounds, which I didn't realize until I looked at the box score. That's crazy. Only 4 assists, 17 points, no blocks, no steals. So he was basically a relative. Yeah, no. He started the second half 0 for 10. I think he did score in the second half because I remember late in the fourth he scored a.
Oh yeah, that
it was something in the paint. But regardless of that, they were dominating the first half. Embiid really didn't have to do much. I remember he went to the locker room because I saw Elton Brand freaking out, like running back and forth. They had some reports saying that Joel Embiid was hurt, but he ended up coming back. Maybe he isn't fine because obviously this is the worst game he's probably had all season long. But if Joel Embiid hits 2 or 3 of these shots, that's the game right there. They lost by 3. That's 4-6 points right there. Who knows the momentum of things if he were to have hit a few of those shots. But I'm going to put this one on Joel Embiid, and I'm also going to put this one on Trae Young because first half, Trae Young looked like trash. He was airballing wide open threes. He was turning the ball over. He really didn't look himself. Obviously, you could see that something was going on with his shoulder. But that second half, he came and he took the game over. He was feeding his teammates. I think he had 18 assists, right? Mm-hmm. Was started hitting a decent amount of his shots, taking the ball into the paint, finishing with some pressure in his face. Bro was amazing down the stretch, and Bogdanovich also helped. But Trae Young, that's when you can really separate greatness, where you start off the gates really rough, you finish the game out strong, and you get your team the W, especially down 2-1 at home. This is a huge win, so I'm going to give 90% to Joel Embiid, but then, this is on Joel Embiid.
Damn.
Bro, 4 for 20, you're the best player on the court.
But you started off by saying, I don't want to give too much blame on Embiid.
No, I'm saying where
it just exploded.
No, not even. I said where you could say that when he's amazing, obviously he's the reason that the team's winning. Yeah. When you have a game like this, obviously it's going to be your fault that you guys are losing. So that's why I'm going to give a lot of blame to Joel Embiid, but I expect him to bounce back for sure. You're in Atlanta. You obviously aren't 100% health-wise. You get a day off. You come back in Philly, and you try to bounce back.
You know, I don't disagree too much, but I think this is more on Ben Simmons and him just getting exposed in the playoffs. And Joel Embiid did shoot poorly, over 12 in the second half. I think most of that was due to him not being good, his knee not feeling well, because on a lot of the shots that he took, the elevation was not there. I could see that his knee was bothering him, but he really did shoot horribly. Ben Simmons, to me, he had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. It looks great, but he's just such a liability down the stretch. They started doing hack a Ben at one possession. He missed one of the free throws. He made the other one. But you can't have Ben Simmons out there because he's just not a threat on offense, like at all. You know, they've tried to kind of mask that by putting him in the dunker spot and by him roaming around the baseline, but that still doesn't help because nobody is guarding Ben. And he's not aggressive enough on offense. Even as a point guard, he doesn't really do much to run the short to get others involved. And I'm just not sure if they can win like that. And Ben Simmons is going to be the Sixers' Achilles heel in any series that they play in because there's a blueprint to his game. Much like Giannis, Giannis is just going to drive in and try to ram through people to get a layup. Ben Simmons, he's not going to do that. Like, Ben Simmons has what Giannis can do, but he just doesn't have the mindset or the aggressiveness to do that. And because of that, he's not a threat. He gets most of his points off the fast break. And I was watching The Herd today, and Colin Cowherd made an excellent point. A couple of years ago.
He's good.
Colin Cowherd, you're saying?
He's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Ben Simmons, a couple of years ago, well, the media in general, they were talking about Ben Simmons or Embiid. Ben Simmons or Embiid. Who should the Sixers really build around? Because back then we saw this core couldn't win because their games just don't complement one another. And some people were team Ben, some people were team Embiid. But now we obviously know there's no there's a big separation. Everybody knows it's Embiid, but Ben Simmons' value as a player has diminished tremendously. 2 years ago, maybe even last year, you could have maybe put together a package to trade Ben for Dame. And now, if we're going into this offseason, would Portland accept a Ben for Dame package? I'm really not sure.
I think Well, first of all, Colin Kerr is also one of the people that had Ben Simmons as the 5th best player in the NBA. I remember.
No, he said he was the next LeBron.
Yeah, I remember
If he
him
had
doing
a jump
that.
shot, he's the next LeBron.
All right.
If he had a jump shot, he's the next LeBron.
People say that, but like Joel said, his mentality, he doesn't have the mentality to score the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He has the Giannis ability. He can literally just go to the basket. He's strong enough to get to the basket, finish it. He can finish at the basket. He's a great finisher. He has the ability to post up, get guys that are smaller than him, get in the paint. He just doesn't have the mentality to score. And even putting him in the dunker spot, if Embiid, I don't even think it's a Ben thing. I think if Embiid was like a joker, like a playmaker, it would work. He can play that Aaron Gordon role, kind of just roam around, get cuts. But I don't think the offense is predicated like that. And like I said, Ben Simmons' mentality isn't to score. I think his value has diminished, and it's hard to get a package from right now. I think you could probably get another All-Star for him, maybe, depending on the quality of the All-Star. But another thing, I think like the play calling down the stretch was kind of terrible too.
It was horrible.
Yep.
I mean,
Shake
Seth
had an
Curry,
open three.
He should have shot that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that in a minute. But Seth Curry, he should have had more looks.
No doubt.
He should have had more plays.
He was
He
killing
had
early.
In the
17.
first half,
He
he
was
was
wilding.
going bananas.
And I think Seth Curry is the most underrated player in the NBA.
He might be.
I mean, he's a bucket getter. He's not Steph.
Curry.
He's not his brother.
Yep.
But he's a Curry.
Seth Curry, once he gets hot, it's hard for you to stop him. He's really that type of player. Tobias Harris was playing really well as well. And Shake Milton, like you said, he had an open three and didn't take
He didn't even look
a
at the
wide
rim.
open three. And Devin the Lab tweeted that he thought Shake Milton was scared. It looked like it because
Okay.
I was over there. I was watching the game and I said, "Bro, stop waiting for the play to
First of all,
develop."
Yeah.
They were like triple teaming
Yes,
Seth. Like,
he
it was
wasn't gonna get open.
Yeah.
like it was ridiculous. I thought Shake was gonna just pull up because he has that confidence in
I would
the
have.
game.
I would have.
I'd have shot it.
I would
whatever.
have thought if he shot that, I think it could have went in.
That's a good shot.
Yeah.
He was wide open.
And
He
Shake
wasn't
Milton
even
is that
looking
type
at
of
the
player.
rim. He was just like looking for Seth. And I was like, that's a thing you got to let your players know. Like, I don't know if Doc told him if he was open to shoot that, but that's just an instinct thing. You got to be ready to shoot that at all times.
I think what's made it worse is that Ben Simmons, who was in the Rookie of the Year race with Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum,
Who's better than him?
Mitchell and Tatum have continued to improve year after year. We see Mitchell right now 2 wins away from going to the Western Conference Finals. Do I think the Jazz will do it? I do not. The Clippers are just in a groove right now. You look at Jason Tatum, already 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances. They have been getting better every single year. Mitchell averaged 26 this past year.
You could
Tatum's
debate that
at
they've been getting a little worse. Tatum maybe as a player has gotten better. As a team, Celtics have gotten worse.
I know, but
Okay,
Tatum,
got you.
We're talking about individuals.
Yeah,
Okay, my
Tatum
bad,
and Donovan
my
Mitchell
bad.
have gotten better.
Yep.
Ben Simmons, since his rookie year, you can't really make an argument that he's gotten better every year. He's regressed every single year, and his
What draft
stats
class
show
was
it.
that? What year
I
was
would say,
that?
Well, Ben Simmons got
yeah.
drafted in 2017.
You can even
No. Ben Simmons got drafted in
I feel like
2016,
you could
first
say-
overall
You
pick.
could say his offense has regressed. I would agree with that. To say that his entire play has regressed, I don't know if that's what you're going for, but he just was first team all defense.
I got it. It's 2016.
2016 that he got drafted.
This year is the lowest amount of assists Ben Simmons has ever averaged.
Okay.
Lowest amount of rebounds Simmons has ever averaged. Second lowest steals, lowest in blocks,
so he
tied lowest in blocks, and points lowest of his career.
So he averaged one. I'm pretty sure because I just looked. 1.7 steals, almost 2 per game, averaging eight rebounds a game, averaging what 8 assists a
I don't
game.
mean to cut you off real quick, but
Go ahead, bro.
just to piggyback on what Joel said, his class, Brandon Ingram has improved. Jaylen Brown has improved. Jamal Murray.
Are you taking any of those guys over Ben
I would
Simmons?
take
Yes.
Jaylen Brown.
I would
over
take
Ben
Jamal
Simmons.
Murray
Brown.
over
I'll take
Ben
Jamal
Simmons.
Murray over
I
Ben
can't agree with that,
Even
man.
Sabonis has improved.
Sabonis, yes, he has improved too.
Look at this class. Oh, no, this class.
Ja-
Harris LeVert, Malik Beasley. Like, these guys improved.
Who's the
Like,
other guy? Not Jaylen Brown. Who's
Brandon
the other-
Ingram.
Who'd
I
you
wouldn't
say?
take Brandon Ingram over Ben Simmons.
But Ben Simmons' class is what?
2016.
2016
That's his real
class.
class.
Okay,
That's
that's
his
his
real
real
class.
class, okay.
Yeah. Not the left back class.
I feel like I
Yeah,
probably
he got
would.
reclassified.
I probably would take Jaylen Brown over Ben Simmons.
I would take
You're probably
Jaylen-
right about that because not only can Jaylen Brown play unbelievable
Pascal
defense,
Siakam was in that class too.
okay. I'm still taking Ben.
I don't know. That's
Bro,
close.
Pascal literally only
That
has
is
one
close.
move.
What does Ben have? A no move.
But he
He
does
has no
more.
bag.
He does plenty of other things on the court than just
DeJounte
offense.
Murray's in this class. too.
Malcolm Brogdon is in this
Okay,
class.
you guys are really trying to disrespect Ben right now. Like his team wasn't number one in the
No,
East.
I'm just saying that all these players, since they've gotten drafted, have gotten better. Brogdon is now averaging 20 and 8 with the Pacers
on an irrelevant team.
You have Siakam, who developed into an all-star, was the second best player.
Let's not forget, Brogdon was at an ECF. Don't
how
forget
long
that.
ago? With Milwaukee?
Yeah, that was
correct.
2 years ago.
Also,
Okay.
Siakam was the second or third best player, whichever way you slice it, on a championship
I would give him the number.
team.
He was number 2. He was the number 2.
It's a ring.
Yeah, but he didn't. He wasn't the number 1 option. What happened once Pascal had to be the number 1 option?
Right.
They didn't even make the playoffs.
Ben Simmons has never been the number 1
I'm
option.
capping.
They made the playoffs.
They were number 2, correct. But this year they were trash.
But
And what
Ben
were you gonna
Simmons
say?
has never been a number 1 option.
Let me ask
I'm
you a
not
question.
saying that he is
His
because that's not his game.
Drew, let me ask you a question. His left back class, right? 2017. I'm gonna name you 5 players. Ask me, would you take any of these 5
All
players?
right, let's hear it.
Tatum, obviously. De'Aaron Fox.
I would take Ben.
Lauri Markkanen.
I'm taking Ben.
This one's gonna be a.
I don't know why you named Markkanen.
I was just naming. I'm just naming.
Okay.
the
I
guy.
feel you.
Bam Adebayo.
I'm taking Ben.
Okay, Donovan Mitchell.
I'm gonna take Spider.
Now this is a tricky one. Would you take Jonathan Isaac over Ben Simmons? Have you watched Jonathan Isaac play?
Listen, I'm not gonna embarrass myself and say that I have because I haven't. Truthfully,
Okay.
he's nice. Jonathan
Would you
Isaac's
take
nice.
I wouldn't take Jonathan Isaac.
'Cause
He's
I
an
wouldn't-
elite defender, though.
yeah,
he plays for the Magic.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
But he has no offensive game.
He does it, but boy, that boy lock up.
So you're gonna can he defend anywhere near?
Jonathan can defend 1 through 5.
And Ben can't.
He can defend like Ben Simmons.
A little bit
Isaac
better.
can
So then
do
his
it.
so
think-
Ben's passing's better. His handle's better.
Yeah.
He's taller than he is. He's probably faster than he is.
No, Jonathan's 7 feet. Well, 6'11".
Well, big. Okay, well, you're inches. Ben's 6'10",
His wingspan is like,
and Ben's ridiculously fast. Arguably the fastest player in the NBA.
what the
Arguably, he really might be.
downhill? You just
Yeah,
talking straight
downhill.
Oh, okay,
And who's stopping him really?
Giannis.
That's it. I agree. Giannis.
AD.
I don't know. He's not
Well, yeah.
as fast because Giannis is fast. His strides are ridiculous.
Ben is just—he's such a like his mentality sucks.
I feel his offensive mentality is questionable, but he doesn't need to score. That's not his game.
But in the playoffs, you do.
Not necessarily. Not when you have
For them to unleash.
I'm gonna give a hot
not-
take.
Let me finish this thought real quick.
Okay, you go.
Tobias is probably the number 2 option on that squad
You trust
offensively.
that?
I mean, he's
To
been
win the
averaging
chip?
22, 22, 20 these last 3 games. Especially when Embiid's dropping 30 a game. Of course, I trust that.
Yeah.
And then you got Seth Curry, who's been getting buckets. Danny Green's injury hurts because he's a shooter. You need the shooters around Ben. That's why prior to this year,
Shake just froze up in the moment.
Maxey has been solid.
You got 2 guys that they play that can't score. Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons. They're best defenders. And when they're both in the court, that is like 5 points in the backcourt.
But like I said, when Ben
And that also puts a lot of the load on Embiid. That's why he gets hurt a lot, because you have to put a lot of the scoring load on him.
Tobias needs to take more shots too. I mean, last
He's an
game,
inconsistent guy.
Not really. He shot over 50% every single game this year.
Playoffs.
No, he has been.
He's been
awesome.
awesome.
He's been amazing.
His life has been
Okay,
inconsistent.
let's give a little trivia here.
Trivia.
Because Ben Simmons was drafted in 2016, but he was in the Rookie of the Year race in 2017 because he sat out the entire
left back.
2016 year.
Like Blake Griffin.
It's hard to compare him to his original class. So
Embiid did it too, right?
Yeah, he did.
So let's compare him to both classes and tell me if you would take Ben Simmons over these players I'm about to name.
Okay.
Let's talk about the 2016 NBA draft class first. Would you take Ben Simmons over Brandon Ingram,
yes.
Jamal Murray,
No.
Yes.
Jalen Brown,
No.
No.
Malcolm Brogdon,
Yes.
Yes.
Pascal Siakam,
Definitely.
50-50.
Demontis Sabonis?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's it for that class because I'm not going to just go
Yeah,
through
we're
all
not
those
getting.
names.
We get it.
Now 2017, Donovan Mitchell,
No.
No.
Jason Tatum,
Hell no.
De'Aaron Fox,
Yes. Yes.
John Collins,
Yes.
Yes.
Bam Adebayo.
No.
Yes.
This is a
You
tough.
love him, bro.
I love
you
him.
Love
This
him.
this is a
dog.
tricky one right here. I have 2 for you. Dylan Brooks,
Yes.
OG Anunoby.
Anunoby.
No.
That's close.
No.
Oh my God!
No,
you
he's-
guys,
no.
can
I
you
might
guys
take-
stop treating
I
Ben
might
like
take.
he's not
I
elite?
think I would take OG Anunoby over Ben Simmons.
So is OG Anunoby
Yeah.
the word elite?
I don't think Ben,
Ben
is
Simmons is
either.
not elite.
Why is he not elite?
Not
He's an elite defender.
Does he do
is
anything?
OG.
Does OG Anunoby do anything elite?
Shoot.
He's a,
Well, he's not an elite shooter,
He's
but
a great defender. He's a great defender.
He shoot. OG shoots 40% from the 3 and is a great defender.
No, like 1 through 4 type.
And how
great
many
defender.
attempts per game is he getting?
More than Ben.
Probably. I mean, I probably get more attempts
More
than
than
Ben.
Ben.
So OG this past year averaged 16 points per game.
That's solid.
Shot 40% from 3 on 6 attempts.
And Ben averaged 16 points a game this year. I'm capping. That's his
averaged
career
14.
average. He did go down. You're right.
He sucks.
You're right. Here we go. You're getting disrespectful.
I'm just saying that
You're
there
right,
are a
he
lot
did-
of
he did go
players.
down in points this
There
year.
are a lot of players that you would take over Ben Simmons, and he was the number 1 overall pick. Every player that I just named you has gotten better since they were drafted. Ben Simmons, lowest career assists per game.
You could probably name more.
Assists, lowest career in points this season. Ben Simmons has not gotten better offensively since getting drafted, and defense can only take you so far.
Yeah,
you need offense.
I would say Ben Simmons has been the same in the things we knew he was elite at, or great at, playmaking, defense. He's a good rebounder.
Literally
he's versatile.
Everything.
But the scoring has declined every year, and that's not good when you're a max guy and you're making all NBA teams and all defensive teams and all-star games. You have to be effective. You can't be, in my opinion, how are you an all-NBA player and you are a liability in the fourth quarter, the most important quarter of the game in the playoffs?
Well, would you trust Rudy Gobert with the ball offensively down the stretch of a game? Of course not. That's similar to Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons he's
You're
a point
comparing
guard.
a center to a point
My
guard.
point is, obviously, both of them are. Neither
he's
of
a
them are
center.
shooters. Neither of them are shooters. We know this. So why they are adjusting the
But
game?
I'm not asking him to shoot. I'm asking him if he's. There's been moments in this Hawks series where he's had a guard on him that's not stronger, that's nowhere near his strength. And he's taller than, and he won't even post up or show an ability to score. He'll just stand there and let Embiid get double team, triple team. Like it's come on, Embiid is getting triple teamed. Like they're running 3 people at him. Why? Because Ben Simmons is on the floor, or Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle, who's young, but we know on offense.
I'm with you. I'm with
so
you.
it's
He's
like
not a good offensive player.
yeah, so
Second
it's like
team all
those two,
defense though.
yeah, they're
He's an
great
elite-
that
defenders,
was
but
lit.
it's like offensively, Embiid needs help.
Yep.
And Tobias has been good. He's been really, really good. But how much can you rely on him being your second option?
You gave him 180 million.
Yeah,
You're
which
a
they
lot-
should have
you're-
gave it to Jimmy, but
Easy.
it chose
Agreed.
Brett Brown over Jimmy.
Agreed.
Weird, but
Tobias has been better than Ben Simmons this year.
I'm with you. Offensively.
Okay.
Offensively.
Yes, offensively.
Offensively.
what we
Offensively.
talking about. It's
But
offensive.
defense
No,
can only
it-
take you
'cause
so
it's-
far.
It's really just scoring.
That's a
Other,
lot.
other than scoring, Tobias does nothing better
But this
than
is an
Ben.
offensive game now.
I'm with you. I'm with you, especially going
Why is
against
AD
Atlanta.
so valuable?
Because he can do.
Why
yes,
is
I'm
Kawhi
with
so
you.
valuable?
I'm with you.
Why is Giannis so valuable?
They're
'Cause
defenders,
be
but they
honest,
can score.
They can put up 20, 25 points a night and also give you that
Giannis is fair
defensive
because
stopper.
even though he can't shoot that well, he still manages to put up 30 a game somehow.
Ben Simmons should be putting up 15 to 20 points. First of all, wait a minute.
He should be putting up 20.
Yeah, like
Definitely.
even does let me use a player. Is Ben Simmons' bag, is Jimmy Butler's bag that much better than Ben Simmons?
I think it is, yes.
No, in terms of like ball handling, like him getting to the basket, or
I'm going to take Ben. I'm taking Ben.
As a ball
handling,
handler,
stay there with
Jimmy
that.
Butler's a better ball handler than Ben.
Stay with that. So you're taking Ben, right? Why can't Ben get 20 points a game and Jimmy can't? Jimmy can't shoot from the 3-point line. He's completely digressed as a 3-point
Because
shooter.
he still shoots the
He's one of the
mid-range,
best
he still
finishers, but
shoots
he's one of the best
mid-range.
finishers in the league. Most of his points are to the
He
basket.
refuses to do anything beyond the paint. It makes no sense. He refuses. So as a defender, all you need to know is, okay, as long as I stop him before he gets to the paint, I have a chance at either making him take a dumb shot or forcing him to pass the ball.
He stops himself.
I'm with you. But that's what happens. Jimmy at least could shoot the mid-range, and you have to respect that. Ben refuses to shoot the ball, and that's
What has
it.
Ben in year 5?
Year 4. Year 5.
You're 4.
Year 5, but 1 year was development.
Oh God!
But
But he
he-
had a
4
year
years
of
of
development. Okay. All right.
What are you talking? 2016 was development. You're saying?
Yes, he didn't play the entire year, but
he
he
was
was in the
healthy.
league. He was
Uh-huh.
with NBA
Yeah.
trainers.
Uh-huh.
He was in that
Well,
NBA
he
lifestyle.
got left back.
Uh-huh.
So on to the next segment. We're going to talk about the Utah Jazz. And this is simple. Are the Utah Jazz in trouble? They were up 2-0 on the Clippers. The Clippers lost game 1 by 3 points. They lost game 2 by 6. But then in game 3 and game 4, the Clippers dominated. They have been winning on an average margin of 20 points in game 3 and game 4. They have been taking total control of this series. Now it feels like all the momentum is on the Clippers side. Do you have any faith in the Jazz winning this series, knowing that Mike Conley is still dealing with his hamstring injury? We're not sure what's going to happen with that. I mean, how do you guys feel about this series? And what did you guys see is the reason why the Clippers are dominating the Jazz now?
Well, first of all, I 100% agree. I think Utah is still in this series because they have home court advantage. I think Utah is one of the toughest places to play. And, being the fact that they are going at home, the crowd is going to be behind them. They're still one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. They're still one of the best defensive teams in the league. They're going to be in this series. It's not like they're down 3-2 or anything. It's 2-2. They're going back home. They haven't lost at home. So it's definitely going to be a tricky situation. But what I've seen in LA, I just seen a different approach to the game. Game 3, we saw Paul George finally waking up, and that's what they needed. We saw the role players finally kicking up, and that's what they needed. The defense was a little more intense. And then game 4, I've seen the team we thought was going to be the best defensive team in the league finally put a stamp on it and put their foots down their neck. And I think they came in, first quarter was like 30-13. They punched Utah in the mouth, and they never let up. Paul George, again, played phenomenal, played like the second star he is to Kawhi, played like that number 2 that he should be playing like. Both of them had 30 points back-to-back games. Marcus Morris finally showed up. He had that game in game 4. Reggie Jackson has been a consistent scorer for them. He's been huge for them. And it's that small ball lineup. That small ball lineup, getting all those steals, getting those blocks, being disruptive in the defense, playing that zone. It's something that's been working for the Clippers. I think playing Zubac less, they've realized he's just, in series like this, he can't be useful. They've limited Rudy Gobert on the offensive glass, on the defensive glass also. Donovan Mitchell, they're letting him have their way because, he's just going to do that. But they're limiting the other guys and forcing them to beat them. And I think that's the same routine they went with Dallas, forcing the other guys to beat them, and it worked for them in L.A. But I still think Utah can definitely get this win because they have Donovan Mitchell. He's been impressive. They always play good at home. And we've seen the Clippers blow a lead like they did in Game 1 with 16-point lead, lose that. And then in Game 2, frizzle down in the fourth quarter, and they lost that. So I think the series isn't over, but, I still stand my pick. The Clippers going to the NBA championship.
Well, I would say trouble's probably strong. I wouldn't say the Jazz are in trouble, but I will say the Clippers are surprising me these last few games. Like he mentioned already, he basically went over it all. Paul George has been unbelievable since coming back to LA. He's playing like the true number 2 that he was looking like the number 1 back in Indiana. He looks like the Paul George of old recently. But it's not a clutch game yet. I would say yesterday was more clutch because obviously they're down 2-1. I'll give him his credit for yesterday for sure, but we're going to see what happens these next 3 games because I personally believe that this series is going to go 7. I think that we've seen home court play such a role in this series as opposed to last series where there was no home court advantage at all other than, I guess, Game 7, right, because LA finally won at home. But I do believe that Utah probably wins this Game 5, even though they're definitely going to miss Conley. Hopefully he can make his return sometime this series. I just feel like they need him out on the court to space the floor a little bit more, to have another shooter that they really have to worry about other than Donovan Mitchell. Joe Ingles had a solid game yesterday. He only missed 2 shots yesterday. But you need to see Brogdon, again, he had a solid game too, but Gobert only having 8 rebounds. I'm sorry, I said Brogdon, I meant Bogdanovic.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. Honest mistake. But he did have a decent game. Ingles had 19, Bogdanovic had 18. But you see Gobert, only 4 attempts at shooting the ball, only 6 defensive rebounds, 8 rebounds total. It's like you need to see Gobert make himself more of a force down low for them to really have a chance here. And then you need Mike Conley out there to really have that single coverage on the shooters where you can actually have Ingles get his shot. You can have Bogdanovic getting his shot over whoever. It seems like Bogdanovic could shoot over anyone right now. That man is pretty lethal from 3. But I feel like home court advantage is definitely going to be the factor here. I feel like Game 5 is going to go to the Jazz. Game 6 is going to go to the Clippers. But Game 7, I don't see how the Clippers can beat Utah at home in a Game 7. I feel like everything has gone right for Utah up until this point. And it would be pretty bizarre, personally, to see them lose in a Game 7 that way, especially to a team that I personally think they're better. One thing I will say is they're getting out-coached right now. I think Ty Lue has made really good adjustments on the defensive side of the ball. You realize Donovan Mitchell is going to be Donovan Mitchell, and you try to let him kill you, but you try to take everyone else out the game. And I like that approach. They're definitely going smaller. But that's where they need to have Gobert be the guy that Gobert's supposed to be. And I know Gobert doesn't have much to offer offensively, but maybe they start to feed him the ball down low a little bit more, maybe to have some kind of new scheme that the Clippers need to worry about, because right now just feeding Donovan Mitchell isn't going to get it done.
I mean, most of Utah Jazz's troubles on the offense side of the ball, I have a different perspective than you guys. I think it's been because the Clippers have been limiting Donovan Mitchell. They have been double teaming him from different angles and directions. They have made it a point of emphasis that he's not going to do what he wants. We're going to take him out the game, or at least try to, and let everybody else beat us. And that's where Mike Conley is missed so much, because Mike Conley is that secondary ball handler. Outside of Mitchell, there's not really one on Utah, and that's the big concern with their team. The second closest one is Joe Ingles, and he's really good, no doubt. They usually don't play him with Mitchell alongside most times. They usually stagger their minutes. And then Jordan Clarkson, who we know whenever he gets the ball, he's going to shoot it no matter what.
He had a rough game yesterday.
It's going to be tough, and I didn't give a prediction before this series started. I didn't give a prediction for who I thought was going to win. I thought it would be a 7-game series, and I'm still leaning towards that way. But would I be surprised if the Clippers win the next 2 and win these 4 straight games? I wouldn't, because I think the Clippers have figured out how to beat the Jazz without Mike Conley. They're going with their game plan that they set, and they're finally playing small ball the majority of the game. And before the series, that was a question mark with Rudy Gobert. Can he handle when the Clippers go small? Because like you mentioned, he didn't make his presence known. He's not that type of center. And to be fair, the Jazz are playing well. I mean, they're shooting 41% from 3, but the Clippers are shooting 42% from 3. Mitchell is averaging 37 points per game. He's doing his thing. But the Clippers have just found a way to defend the Jazz much better, and offensively have found a way to expose them as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, like you said, them throwing a lot of different double teams at him. And I think what we're starting to see is it's a little different because, in the Dallas series, we saw the same type, not the same exact, but the double teams.
Similar.
And we seen kind of Luka still be able to break it down. And I think what we're seeing is a little flaw in Donovan Mitchell's game. And that's the fact that Donovan Mitchell isn't the elite playmaker that Luka is. He's kind of missing reads. He's missing guys on open looks when he's getting double teamed. And that Utah team isn't making that next pass. And usually they do. They're a really good passing team. And I think, a lot of those stats, because, when Clippers came out, punched him in the mouth, Utah was shooting horrible. They got it going in the second half, but the damage was already done. They was already down.
You can't come back from 30-13
and
quarter.
I think the Clippers have to win these next 2 games. I don't think they'll win Game 7 in Utah. I think that's going to be too much of a crowd.
You don't?
Yeah, I don't think. I think Paul
George
is going to fold in Game 7 in Utah if they go to Game 7. I think you have to win these next. These are the next 2 you have to win Game 5.
Home court matters a lot, but I think Game 7.
I think for this team it matters.
If you're the better team, you will win. And I think
but I don't think
Utah is the better team.
I don't think so.
I don't think the better team always shows up, though.
I'm with.
I don't think the better team always shows up.
I'm not gonna agree with that, because if you're the better team, usually 9 out of 10 times you win. NBA history, 9 out of 10 times, if you're the better team, you win.
Especially in a Game 7.
That's
better
fair.
teams win in Game 7.
To your point, you truthfully believe Clippers right now as a whole are better than Utah? I just feel like Utah is so much more deep than the Clippers are.
Okay, let's get into that a little bit. Kawhi and PG.
Of course.
No, Kawhi's the best player in the series.
Correct. Better than Donovan?
Kawhi is better than Donovan.
Donovan's 2.
Yes.
I'm just saying in this series right now.
Donovan is 2, PG is 3.
Gobert is 4.
4 is Gobert.
5 gets tricky.
5
I would say
is
Clarkson.
Who?
I would say Clarkson is 5.
Bogdanovich?
Oh, yeah.
Bogdanovich is good too. But the Clippers have good role players. Batum plays his role. Reggie Jackson is averaging 15 points per game in their series.
I think they're evenly matched.
You have Ingles, Bogdanovich. You got Jordan Clarkson. O'Neal's not a bad shooter, I don't think.
He's good.
He's a good player,
I
but
just feel like that depth compared to Reggie Jackson, who's definitely kicked it up a notch.
Pat Bev has been better.
Batum, Morris, Zubac, Terrence Mann.
Me personally,
I think they're even.
I like the. I just lean a little bit more towards the Jazz, but I understand what you guys mean.
And at the same time, if maybe they can be deeper, but at the end of the day, when you're in that fourth quarter, when there's under 6 minutes, it's this 5 against this 5.
Right now, it's come to the Paul George and Kawhi being able to score the basketball more efficiently.
And as long as Kawhi and PG are in that starting 5 with a guy like Jackson or Morris and Batum, that 5 I would take over whatever 5 Utah has to offer and can bring on the court. And I think something that's getting swept under the rug is how great Ty Lue has been.
For sure.
Being down 0-2 against Dallas, making the proper adjustments on how to guard them and how to play offensively, winning in 7 games. Now against Utah, game 1 and game 2 were dominant performances by Utah. I honestly thought game 3 was a must-win game for Utah. Really? Because if they would have won that game, you would go up 3-0.
Of course.
You seal the series with that. But giving this Clippers team life, now it's tied 2-2. It's going to be really hard to beat this Clippers team 2 times. It really is, especially after they have figured out how to play and they're playing well. They're shooting great from 3.
I don't think Mike's going to play. I was
just about to ask you guys, do you think Conley makes a return?
I think it's over.
Let's see.
I think he does, but I think it's game 6 or game 7.
Because that hamstring, playing on a hamstring is really hard. You know, it's
James is about to do it tonight.
Yeah, but James was is a little bit different than Mike.
It was a lesser injury than Conley.
Yeah.
Harden's was
saying Mike's is a mild hamstring, mild strain.
Yeah, but Harden's was hamstring tightness.
Okay.
Yeah.
His was a
Conley's
strain,
is
right?
a strain.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are so 2 completely different.
I'm
things.
not a doctor, but that sounds worse.
Nope. Fair enough.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I don't think Mike's coming back, and if he does, I still think he's not going to be 100%. I think they're gonna, if he does come back, he's kind of going to be like 50-60%, and that's when they're going to attack him.
I feel like that just might be what they need right now. Another guard to.
They do need that,
right?
They do.
What I hate the most though is that all these series feel like they're being decided by injuries. You look at the Nuggets, Jamal Murray's not playing. You look at the Lakers, AD's not playing.
But do we really think Jamal was going to change that series?
He was.
He might have, bro.
Yes,
that was a 4-0 spanking.
Because then MPJ really doesn't have all the pressure of having to be that number 2.
Yeah, but it's just like they beat them 4 times, and they just spanked them every time.
You're right.
You look at the Nets, Harden, Kyrie, hurt.
Yeah.
All around the NBA, there are injuries, and I wish that Conley was healthy right now.
I wish everybody was healthy, honestly.
That's not how the playoffs.
A healthy NBA this year would have been crazy, man.
I still think we're getting a really good playoffs,
other than the Nets, of course.
Yeah, I still think we're getting.
No, this playoffs is really good.
So it's official. James Harden is playing tonight in Game 5.
Oh boy,
I had to know.
So this is a perfect segue into the next segment. James Harden is playing in Game 5 tonight. The original question to this topic was, can KD win the series without Kyrie and Harden? But Harden is going to be in this series, but they just said Kyrie will not play in this series again. So he's out for the series.
I didn't see that. I just thought
Kyrie's not going to play for the
injury?
series. It's an ankle injury. I mean, his look bad.
Yeah,
look bad.
But he went down smart because
he's out for the playoff or just the series?
The series.
Just the series.
I still okay.
As soon as the ankle injury happened, you just saw him drop to the floor like a sack of potatoes.
Because he just landed, I think, right on his ankle.
Honestly, it was smarter because if he had twisted his ankle and then kind of like tried to keep his balance, he probably would have broke it.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So now with Harden and KD, do the Nets still have a chance to beat the Bucks, even though Harden is coming off that hamstring injury and hopefully he doesn't re-injure it?
Yeah, like I think you told me if you told me right now Harden was healthy, he's 100%. I think KD and Harden can beat the Bucks and still go win the NBA championship. I think those two guys are that good. You know, if you just said Harden wasn't playing in Kyrie, I'd be like, it's a tricky one. But KD and Harden, those two are more than enough. I don't want to hear an excuse. Those two are more than enough to beat the Bucks and definitely more than enough to get to the championship and win the championship. But the thing is, Harden, he wasn't. I feel like if Kyrie didn't get hurt, he wouldn't have played today. I think just because of the fact that Kyrie's hurt, they're kind of in tough waters right now. Game 5 is back in Brooklyn, and Harden's feeling, I want to guess, about 75% right now that he's like, all right, I'm good to go. You know, I know the hamstring's probably still going to hurt him a little bit. You're going to see it a little bit in his walk and his bounce and his jump shot. But I think, winning this game it's a big game right now, and we all know here, KD couldn't win that game by himself. I think he
could have won one. You don't think so?
No.
Yes, I do. That's Kevin Durant.
It is.
It's Kevin Durant, but he would have had to drop like 55.
Not if the shooters hit their shots. Harris hasn't played well in this series yet.
He hasn't played well in Milwaukee. He played well in Brooklyn.
But they need a 20-point night from Joe Harris tonight.
They need more than that because if you just get KD, if it was just KD, all you do is throw double teams at him and let the other guys beat him.
If I'm
They're not worried about Mike James.
KD
and
is double teamed every possession, start to finish.
You know what's the funniest thing about the NBA playoffs? Once a team wins one game or two, all of a sudden these overreactions happen.
Oh, yeah.
I posted a TikTok about Giannis and his half-court game in the playoffs, and a bunch of the comments were, Giannis is facing a super team in the Nets. What do you expect? Even though Harden hasn't even played a game in this series. And they're saying, what do you expect? His role players suck. Now, all of a sudden, the Bucks win 2 games in a row, and Game 3, Chris Middleton was the best player for the Bucks.
Game 4, Middleton balled out too.
He was the best player on the court that night.
Yeah, and
in Milwaukee, he did his thing.
He's been their closer. He is their closer. And all of a sudden, I mean, this is how it goes in the NBA. When you win, the superstar gets all the credit. When you lose, the role players are absolutely abysmal. They suck. They're not good enough.
They did that with Dallas. With Luka. When the role players was bombing it.
Yeah,
it was like,
50% from 3.
Yeah, then when they fell off, it's like, yeah, his role players suck, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I hate about NBA culture because without the big 3 playing in Harden, Kyrie, and Giannis, this is not a super team. No. If it's just Kyrie and KD or Harden and KD or whatever variation of the duo,
it's a great team.
It's a great team. It's not a super team. A super team is 3 all-star caliber players or better. And not even that, like 3 superstar players.
I think it's a super team would be 2 superstars and then 1 all-star.
See, are you saying that? Would you say the Lakers last year were a super team?
Oh no.
Okay.
I think you guys would be like KD and Harden, a great team. I don't think
this
you guys
year,
were a super team.
Drummond was actually all-star Drummond, yes,
it would be declared. If he was old Drummond, like the all-star, you would be declared
like a quarter
super
of
team.
himself.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He's horrible.
Yeah, he's bad.
He played very bad. So to answer the question, now that Harden's playing, it kind of threw off like this whole thing that I was planning to say. But now that Harden and KD are actually going to play, I'm very interested to see this because with Kyrie and KD, they went up 2-0 easy. Like it was not even a thought for them. They handled Milwaukee very easy in Brooklyn those first 2 games. Then it goes back to Milwaukee. That game 3 was one of the worst games, but most entertaining, weirdly in a way, games I've ever seen in my life where they just could not hit a basket. Ended up being like an 81, 80, something like that, like low scoring game. Then game 4 comes and Milwaukee just punches them in the mouth and they have an explosion. That's the Milwaukee team that I saw going into this series that I really thought that they really could give the Brooklyn Nets a run for their money. And that was with me thinking that James Harden was going to play too. So then I watched those first 2 games and then I see Kyrie Irving and KD by themselves handling Milwaukee. I started to get stressed. But then now you look at it from a Harden and a KD perspective. Harden is going to be facilitating the ball to a good portion of the game because that's just how his game is. To me, if Harden's playing, I don't see how the Nets lose. If he can stay and play the entire game, I don't see how they lose. In my opinion, I feel like that's just only as much as KD has been doing his thing this series. It's going to be even more efficient this game because now you have to worry about not only James Harden's ball movement, but his ability to drive the basketball, his ability to take you out and take the step back 3. KD's just going to where Kyrie opens the floor for KD, Harden opens it even more because how much better of a facilitator he is than Kyrie. But if Harden wasn't playing, there's no way that I could see the Nets winning tonight. I think that this series would be over in 6. We'd finally be seeing KD get a taste of what LeBron had to go through. It would have been poetic to see. I really would have loved to see it. And truthfully, I wish that Harden would have just waited one more game. Just one more game.
We've seen KD by himself for it.
Yeah, how long ago?
That was OKC. He lost.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And I'll leave it to you, Joel.
I think we're putting way too much pressure on James Harden to be the savior of the Nets when he's coming off an injury.
That's one. All I'm saying is I'm not saying that I'm expecting this of him. I'm saying that it's James Harden.
Off a hamstring injury.
If he's healthy, if he could play the entire game.
Whoa. What are we doing here? He's playing, right?
Yeah, he's playing.
So he's playing. I expect him to come in and play. I don't want to hear none of that.
I was about to say because
come on, bro.
LeBron got crucified for basically the exact same thing.
Hamstring.
Ankle injury.
When? In this past series?
LeBron had an ankle injury.
That's not as bad as a hamstring.
Says who?
Yeah, says who? Me. You're not a doctor. You just told us that.
And based on my Google searches,
ankle
it's
connected
not worse.
to the foot. Without the foot, you can't walk.
Talk. Wait, without your hamstring though.
You can still move.
Oh,
you can still move.
Okay.
Ankle, your lateral movement's completely thrown off. Your leaping ability completely.
I mean, LeBron James he doesn't move laterally on offense most of the time. He's just driving.
That was ridiculous.
That's good. Yeah.
No, but James, look, I'm no doctor, but a hamstring, I can guarantee is having that injury is worse than having an ankle.
No.
Yes. All right. I'm gonna hold up. I'm gonna search it up on Google.
All right.
Let's get a quick search in, guys.
Because one soft tissue, but the other has to do with ligaments and the structural. Like you need your ankle is so essential to how your entire lower extremities move.
All right. I can't get a clear.
It's all right,
I can't
bro.
get a clear
Regardless,
answer.
They're both
Regardless,
painful.
I just think that Harden provides more spacing to the court.
Who's crucifying LeBron for losing though?
A lot of people. Have you checked
Everyone,
Twitter,
bro? Everyone.
Nah, on Twitter, I haven't really seen much LeBron.
Man, I didn't see people say
I don't pay-
LeBron
I don't
dropping
pay-
rankings.
I haven't seen one good thing about LeBron.
I don't pay
since he's
attention to
lost.
troll accounts on Twitter.
Oh,
You were one of them. You were one of them. 100%. He lost. You're like, I don't ever want to hear.
He doesn't have
the
the mentality.
Yeah, he's not built like that.
Yeah, but I'm just joking. I'm not
Of
serious
course,
about
but that's what I'm saying. That's a bunch of people.
I've seen one person say.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are dead serious
when
about
they talk
it.
about.
I've seen one
Yeah.
person say, "Well, LeBron has dropped in my Lakers ranking. He's like under Magic, Kobe now because
He's under James Worthy.
Yeah, like under Elgin
When it
Baylor.
comes to Lakers, like how could you even try and put him in the conversation with those
The
greats?
thing about it is that Harden is now going to be guarded by Holiday.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
That's going to be tough,
Mhm.
especially on a bad hamstring. That is going to be tough. Kevin Durant can't shoot 9 for 26 again in this game if they want to
But
win.
Harden playing automatically removes that double team pressure off KD. Because my thinking of going into this game was KD was going to be double teamed almost every other possession.
And they have the shooters to make him pay for it.
That's a fact. But now that you get Harden out there, completely removes that idea. Now the spacing is going to be a whole lot better. Now Joe Harris, there's less pressure on him to.
Does anybody know why BG didn't play the second half? Last game,
BG.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
I was blanking. I'm
Yeah.
like, who?
My
I was
bad.
like Brandon Goodwin.
My fault. Does anybody know why he didn't
I
play the
don't
second
know.
half?
I really don't know.
'Cause
Either.
he's the best guy to guard Giannis. That Claxton guy can't do
There's
it.
no one that could guard him on the Nets.
Well, Blake does the best job.
He does a decent job in the first quarter. Second, third, fourth, it's barbecue chicken.
Well, I mean,
on Google, there's no articles that mention Blake being injured, so
he
I'm
just
guessing.
didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing he
Giannis
just
started
didn't
taking
play.
him to school, and then Blake was like, I'm done playing.
Probably foul trouble, but I think this is still going to be a tough series. I think this series still goes to 7, and it's going to be decided by that 7th game, and we'll see what
with
happens.
Harden playing 7.
Yes, even if KD was playing alone, I thought it was going to 7.
Hot take. I got Bucks in 6, man. They smell blood.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think,
listen,
bro,
yeah, they smell blood in the water. Listen, I
they
get it.
have to take advantage.
You love Harden. He won't win a ring this year. I'm sorry to tell you
Bro,
this.
but
It's not going to happen.
next year, their chances to win the chip are going to be even better. No doubt about it. You got a full season to play with each other where they didn't really even play with one another because of
so you're
injuries.
counting your guy out.
I'm just saying they have a better chance to win next year than this year,
They won't.
in my opinion. Because the Lakers are coming back, of course.
You guys won't come out the West.
And who's we? Who's we? Who is that?
Well, my Warriors are back, and then you got the Clippers.
Oh my God, this man and the Bulls
I don't know
for the OG fans.
I don't know
the
what
Bulls.
we're gonna do, bro. You guys are scared of Steph.
You said the Bucks smell blood.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because they're herbivores.
You looked that up.
They're not omnivores. They don't eat meat. So
All right. The Bucks.
they will
The
not
Bucks
win.
smell blood, man. Like they probably walking in like we don't care if Harden plays. We're locked. Chris Middleton is back. Giannis
game
is on one. Drew, he's dominant. He looks at Mike James as food.
That being said, Drew Holiday, where I thought he was having a good game last game, he only had 14 points last game.
because he makes an impact in other ways.
I feel you, but I feel like
I mean,
he did not
when he
trade.
sees Mike James, it's food.
How many first round picks did they give up for Drew Holiday? Like
3.
5? Was it 3?
3.
I thought it was like 5.
They gave up
Something
a lot.
egregious.
I think it was swaps.
But for him to only have 14 points, I know he can score the basketball. I saw him do it
He had like
in New
13
Orleans.
assists though.
Let me see
If I'm
that.
not mistaken, he did have 13.
If he had 13 assists, then I'll apologize to him. But 14
Drew
points,
Holiday's never been that type of scorer.
Yeah.
He's around
but
14
on
to
the
18 a
Pelicans,
game.
he was
I'll say like 16, 19. That's his 5. 16, 19, 7 assists. 4
he averaged
rebounds.
17.7 this season. Career 16. Okay.
He made an All-Star game. That was Philly days.
Yeah, in Philly.
They traded him.
For Nerlens Noel.
So you have the Nets and
I have
you have to stay with the Nets.
I have the Nets
Yeah,
in
you have
7
interest.
still.
So he did average 21.2 in New Orleans. That's what I was thinking. But regardless, I mean, 14 points. I get that his defense is probably top 5 of guards in the league. Probably better than
remember
that, too.
when David Griffin said Holiday can be the best player in the NBA?
Yeah, I don't know what he was on.
No, but this is the thing, though. I want to say this as well. I think the refs have been garbage in this series.
Let me guess. Because PJ Tucker is roughing it up on KD?
Well, that's one of the reasons, but just look at the
That's how
entire
they-
series. Just look at the free throw numbers from the Nets compared to the Bucks.
I think the consistency isn't there. I love how PJ Tucker's playing.
Me too.
I love the
I
aggression.
mean, I told you who PJ Tucker was.
I mean, that's
you
how-
refused to believe it.
He's bald and whack.
Hey, I didn't.
With-
PJ Tucker's not
That's
bald
how
and
they.
whack.
That's how they used to guard MJ. For you LeBron fans, just like that.
PJ Tucker would
And
lock
he had
up Michael
30.
Jordan.
What?
He would lock him up.
Anyways.
Give Tucker
Oh,
hand
God.
checking.
What?
You give Tucker hand
Bro,
checking.
MJ's gonna fly over him.
It's not even a
Frying
debate.
him.
He's gonna fly over
It's
him.
not even a debate.
Okay.
He might
Anyway,
drop 35.
He made
35.
Durant go 9 for 26. You think
That's because Durant take all jump shots.
Jordan cannot get past Tucker?
What the
He's
hell?
a stone wall.
Jordan's the speed. All right. Anyways, Jordan
He's
with the
as
chain
strong-
is
he's
averaging
as-
40.
He's as strong as a North Wall.
Yo, what?
Bro's been watching so much Game of Thrones.
Oh, he posted the other day. He was like, I saw the red wedding.
Yeah, I peeped that.
Crazy. So you, oh man.
God damn the phrase.
No way, bro.
Now, I got the Bucks, man. I got the Bucks in 6, man. I think they take it. I think they end it.
I think the Bucks got it too.
I'm still
I
just
hope-
sticking with the
I
Nets.
really hope the Nets lose. I can't lie.
If the Nets lose tonight,
It's lit.
we geek.
We geek, and then we go to Milwaukee. We have a party, have a celebration. Harden doesn't get a ring. It's lit.
Well, I'm not out on Harden.
No, I'm out.
I'm out on KD. Anything KD does, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm all
Harden
against
can't.
KD. What's wrong with Harden?
I hate him
Why do you hate him?
because
'Cause
he
Steph
thinks he's better than
Curry's-
Steph. That's literally why. Only reason I hate him.
He is.
Look, see,
I have a question for you. This is completely off topic. I apologize.
it's not though because it's about Harden.
If Harden was on the Warriors instead of
He's
Curry,
going to say yes.
what happens?
They probably win 4 straight instead of 3.
So they don't lose.
But they didn't three-peat, actually. No.
so they don't lose
yeah.
in. They don't lose in 2016.
Nope.
They don't lose in 2019.
Nope. They win 4 straight.
Really?
Harden has 4
Really?
championships. He
Even
has
though
3 MVPs.
even though Harden in the playoffs has been known to choke it up.
Statistically, Curry is the player that drops off the most
In
from
the
the regular
finals.
season to the playoffs.
To the finals.
To the
Whoa,
playoffs.
whoa!
in the
In the
finals.
finals,
In the
his
finals.
first round,
Watch-
second round, third
watch-
round be
I
crazy.
was gonna say the Western Conference
Watch-
Finals. I've seen Curry do
Watch
some crazy
Thinking
things.
Basketball's video on this.
Which year are you talking about though? Are you getting specific?
No, he is
Because
in totality.
against that Rockets team, that 2015, he averaged 30.
This is in totality.
Oh, okay.
But statistically, Curry is the superstar that drops off the worst from the regular season to the playoffs. Harden is second,
Oh.
which is not far off. But Curry
So we got
Curry
the
is
two-
first.
So we have the two guys who dropped the most. Okay.
But Curry is the first. He's
Oh,
worst.
okay. So you're
He's
the second. You're the
worst.
first
He just
loser.
has to make sure.
Talking about Kevin Durant, this has been on Twitter for a while. It's been trending. A couple days ago, it trended. And they were talking about Kevin Durant's big 4 in Golden State and in the Nets. So in Golden State, it was Curry, Clay, Durant, and Draymond. With the Nets, it's Kyrie, Harden, Durant, and Blake. You can count them as a
Over
big
Joe,
4
over Big
Yeah.
Joe.
over Big Joe,
Big
I
3.5.
guess.
I think they're doing the Warriors a disservice. It's called the Hampton 5.
Kevon
The
Looney.
death lineup. No, with
No, Andre
Iguodala.
Iguodala.
Iggy, don't ever
Sorry,
say
bro.
Kevon Looney.
So, and I was having this debate with my cousin the other day because he thinks that this Nets team is better than that Warriors squad. And I just want to get your opinion on it. Which KD Big 4 is better, or just team is better? The Warriors or the Nets?
I got this, bro, because there's going to be some bias in your heart, even though there might be some bias in my heart also. Talent-wise, I lean the Nets.
What the?
Talent-wise, and this is no disrespect to Curry, because Curry's obviously the second best player out of everyone else other than KD, obviously. That being said, Harden's right behind him. And then Kyrie, in my opinion, is better than Klay Thompson. Draymond and Blake, obviously, it's
What?
Draymond. It's not
Oh, okay.
close.
Okay.
It's Draymond, but it's not like Blake has been completely irrelevant this postseason or while he's played with the Nets.
But he's still not close to Draymond in my eyes.
I'm with you. I just think that Harden and Kyrie, because there's been moments in the past, not of recent, because of recent, Curry's definitely better than Kyrie. However, there's been moments in the past where some could debate that Kyrie played better than Steph Curry. Whether I'm one of those people or not, I won't say. That being said, there's been moments where Kyrie has outperformed Curry. And as a whole, right now, talent-wise, I feel like it's not so far-fetched to say the Nets. But as a team, it's not close. You go with the Warriors. They were probably the most dominant team we've seen since the 96 to 98 Bulls. Probably the greatest team ever assembled. They managed to stay healthy for 2 full seasons, and they played 9 total finals games. It was a walk in the park for them. As soon as they got to the finals, they handled my guys. No question. That first year, 2017, where you thought that it would be somewhat of a series, it wasn't. Went down 3-0, ended up winning Game 4, I guess because you got to win one, especially when you got Kyrie and LeBron. Then the year after, LeBron almost steals one in Oracle, ends up falling the other way. Unfortunately, J.R. Smith forgot how much time it was, so they ended up losing that one. But regardless of that, there was no stopping the Warriors when they had KD, Clay, Steph, and Draymond all on the court at the same time. Especially when you have 3 of the best shooters in the NBA. You could have argued that it was 1, 2, and 3 on the same squad for 2 years, 3 years in a row. They probably would have won 3 in a row, obviously, if one of the 2 didn't get hurt.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like if Clay even stays healthy that year, that they probably could have won the championship against Toronto.
The thing about the Warriors is their parts fit better than the Nets' parts.
Correct.
Harden makes it all work in Brooklyn because he is that guy. But when you talk about the Golden State's Big Four, Durant cancels out Durant. Curry cancels out Harden. What you're really arguing is Kyrie versus Clay and Draymond versus Blake. Draymond is light years better than Blake right now.
Correct.
Now, even when Blake was an all-star, I would have still taken Draymond over him.
Really?
Yes, because his playmaking prowess and his defensive prowess is just too immense. He doesn't get his just due quite enough. But then you look at Clay versus Kyrie. Kyrie individually is better, no doubt. But when we talk about Clay, he can fit on so much more teams than Kyrie.
I think every team in the NBA he can play on.
He can fit so much better. Not only can he shoot lights out from the 3, he's probably the second best shooter to ever live, but he's a lockdown perimeter defender.
Yep.
That's something that Kyrie won't be. And this Golden State team, people forget, this was a top 5 defense in the NBA, along with the best offense. This Nets team is the best offense, one of the worst defenses. That's why, for me, I think the Big Four in Golden State was better because all their parts fit nicely. And they still had Iggy off the bench or starting sometimes Kevon Looney. Sean Livingston was good.
One of the most underrated players in NBA history. So do you think talent-wise it's close? Or are you saying even still talent-wise you're leaning Golden State?
Even talent-wise, I'd lean Golden State because I understand Brooklyn has pieces like Joe Harris. He's good, no doubt about it. But if I'm if I'm making a championship team, would I rather want Joe Harris when I already have 3 offensive superstars or Iggy?
Easily,
I think
Iggy.
I would get Iggy because of that championship mentality and being such a great defender.
Yep.
And then you look at other guys like Bruce Brown, Nick Claxton. I mean, they're good. They have looked better with the Nets.
Jeff Green
Also. But are those guys that are going to move the needle much? I don't think so. Is Nick Claxton, Kayvon Looney? They're about on the same level.
I think, we're forgetting JaVale McGee, Kevon. Like, these are guys, like, with those Warriors teams, we saw a lot of the experience on the bench.
For real.
We saw Steph, Clay, and KD, a different system, a different energy. They were blowing teams out. And plus, we only got to see 8 games from the Big 3, aside from the playoffs. Of course, we saw them dominate Boston, but Boston wasn't fully healthy. But, like, I just feel like this Warriors team, bro, I'm looking at this Warriors team, 2016, 2017. They lost 1 game in the playoffs.
How many Hall of Famers are on that squad?
This one?
Yeah.
4.
You wouldn't say Iggy's a Hall of Famer?
He could get in.
He could, based off you asked me, 4. What the NBA has, probably 5.
Probably 5.
But they 2016, 2017, they swept the Blazers, swept the Jazz, swept the Spurs, and then beat your guys in 5. They lost a game.
Yeah, it's insane.
16. The only other team did that was LA.
Cavs actually.
Kobe and Shaq.
Cavs did that. They went swept.
Oh yeah, and then they lost.
And then we got smoked.
Yeah, like I think the only team that's done that 16-1 record The last team, I think it was Kobe and the Lakers. Kobe and Shaq, they did that, dominated, and then lost to AI. That's a pretty impressive feat. I think with Brooklyn, a lot of the guys on the bench, they're young. They don't have that championship pedigree or that experience. And it's pretty ISO heavy. James Harden controls the offense. He's kind of the main guy. I think with Steph Curry and them, you saw a lot of ball movement. Even Steve Kerr, you saw him put his offensive prowess into it, his coaching prowess into it. Steve Nash is kind of still a young rookie. I think this Warriors team, just had so much experience and so much fun and so much energy. It was just a different vibe. Like Joel said, they were top 5 in offense and defense. The Nets are one of the best offensive we've ever seen, but they're a statistically horrible defensive team. So I just think, this team, and like we said, we didn't get to see much of this Nets team. We only seen them for 8 games, and then the series against Boston. We still might not get to see enough of them until next year fully because Kyrie's out for a series.
He's out for this series.
Yeah, so and they might lose, so we might not even get to see this team in full, in the full gratitude. But I think the Warriors, easily, those teams were the best teams in NBA history.
Yeah, I agree. And now we're going to talk about one of those players, Draymond Green. He was on the show with Taylor Rooks, her show on Bleacher Report, and he gave his top 5 under 25 list. And this is in no particular order, but he has Luka, Tatum, Trey, Booker, and Zion in his top 5. Some notable players that he left out were Ja Morant, Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons, Shea, De'Aaron Fox, Jaylen Brown, and NPJ. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think Draymond's list is right? Who would you swap in? Who would you swap out? Or would you leave it the same?
I feel like he put Trae Young in it because of what he's been doing in the playoffs. And because of that, I feel like he has to put Donovan Mitchell in that list. Like, was Devin Booker on the list?
Yep.
Yeah, he's on the list too.
Then if Devin Booker's on the list also, I feel like Donovan Mitchell has to be on that list. And I don't even want to get into who's better at this, who's better at that. I think they're all phenomenal players. They're all going to take over the league. But I think Donovan Mitchell has been playing either at the same level or a little bit better than Devin Booker and Trae Young. We can make the argument that Utah's the number 1 team in the league, and they have a lot of help. So does Phoenix. I think Atlanta's team complements Trae Young a lot. I think it helps him in games and situations. He has Bogey. He has John Collins. He has Clint Capella. I think that team is very complimented for him. And I think Donovan Mitchell not getting the respect he deserves, putting this offensive team on, even when missing Mike Conley too. Devin Booker isn't missing Chris Paul. Trae Young isn't missing Clint or John Collins. So I think missing Mike Conley and still being able to win 2 in Utah, putting up the 40 balls. Even last year, missing Bogdanovich, giving Jamal Murray and them boys hell, even though they blew a 3-1 lead. But him as an individual, giving them 40 points, 50 points, giving them hell, I think he has to be in that list. And I think you have to take Zion out, honestly.
So you take Zion out, you put in Spider, you keep Trey.
Yeah. Got to.
I actually don't. I don't hate this list. Actually, I think it's a pretty solid one. I feel I made my own. I put Luka, D-Book, Tatum, Zion, and I got Spider in there at 5.
Oh, so you took Trey out.
Yeah, I took Trey out. I feel like Zion, his team obviously is not good right now, and it's definitely not helping his case as of right now, because we get to witness Trae Young and what he's been able to accomplish right now in the playoffs against a solid Knicks defense, against a solid 76er defense, and Trae has just been absolutely special. That being said, Zion, I just feel like he is just such a force to be reckoned with. The fact that they've gave him the rights to be one of the primary ball handlers, take the ball up the court.
He started bugging after that.
Once he started to be the point forward of the squad, we saw his points per game go up like 4 or 5 points. His assist totals ended up going up too. One thing I will say from Zion, we need to see him be more confident in that 3-point shot. That would definitely open up the floor, especially because right now, if I'm trying my hardest to guard Zion, I'm just going to guard him going left, because it seems as he's definitely more confident going to the left as opposed to the right. I think there was one game they were playing the Celtics. So
you'd guard him going left?
You have to.
He's a lefty.
Exactly. You have to guard him going to his left hand. What do you mean?
If he's a lefty, you're going to guard him going
guard
left?
somebody going to their dominant hand.
As in, be prepared for their left hand. Force them. All right. Sorry that the wording came out wrong. But obviously, he's
dunk on you the entire game.
He's going to violate me. But that's my point. You got to force him to go right, because that's what the proper wording is. You force him to go right. You take his left hand out of his game. But as of right now, that doesn't seem to be an issue. He's easily averaging 28 points at 20 years old. Once they get him a supporting cast of players that are actually fit his skill set, I think that he'll definitely take off. I feel like not having Spider in that list was a little disrespectful. Tatum, I completely understand. He had an Allen Iverson-esque moment against the Nets where he caught one, ended up dropping 50 plus points against the Nets. It was crazy. Devin Booker slayed the king. Unfortunately, he beat my Lakers, and he's having a special run. He's shown in the past that he is an elite top 5 scorer in the NBA when he gets hot. Luka obviously is baby Bron minus the athleticism. So I do like the list. I just feel like right now I would lean Spider over Spider over Trey right now, just because I think I like Spider's athleticism more than Trey's, but it's definitely really close. But this list not too far fetched.
Devin Booker had the Lannister send their regards to King James. The Lannister send their regards. No, but I don't disagree with this list. I think Zion is probably the only person that you can take out because I think Trae Young deserves to be on there. And Draymond Green did say that he didn't know Donovan Mitchell was there. He didn't know he was under 25.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why. So
he
that
turns 25 this September.
So that's why Draymond didn't have
did he
Mitch
change
there.
the list?
He said he would take out Zion because he hasn't been in the playoffs. I think that's what he said.
So rude.
But, the thing about it is that, unfortunately for Zion, I think that he's going to be getting overlooked for the next couple of years because I don't have any confidence in the Pelicans building a good team around Zion. I just don't. So I think it's going to be a while until he gets his just due. But based off of production in the regular season, he's second to Luka on this list, if we're being honest.
I'm with you.
Whoa.
I'm with him.
Who is more productive than Zion?
He's going to take Spider over him.
No.
He's going to take Tatum over him.
I wasn't even going to say Tatum. What the hell?
You got a Motorola ringtone.
It's ringing mad loud. I was like,
OD.
You chose that ringtone yourself?
I think that's the one that comes with it. No, I might have chose that by myself.
That's definitely not the one that comes with it.
Really? What's the one that comes with it?
Let me see.
It's like the alarm clock.
Yeah, then I probably did end up just switching that. Why did I do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a Motorola ringtone.
Whatever. Yeah, Tatum. What the hell?
I just feel like Zion does a little bit more. Tatum obviously is amazing offensively, but
Better defender.
You're taking Tatum defensively over.
Oh yeah, Zion has penguin feet.
Okay. You don't think his athleticism makes up for it though?
Off ball, I think he's a really bad on ball defender.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a really bad defender,
Okay.
no
And
doubt.
Tatum is the clear offense. He's a clearly better offensive
And some
player.
breaking news just happened. The All NBA teams have been announced. We're not going to get too deep into it right now. We'll talk about it probably next show. But
Okay.
first team, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Doncic, and Kawhi. Second team, Chris Paul, Dame, Embiid, Randall, and LeBron. Third team, Kyrie, Bradley Beal, Gobert, Jimmy Butler, and Paul George.
No way. That is.
Yes.
So who got snubbed? I'm trying
Tatum.
to see. Tatum. Oh, Tatum did get snubbed.
We were talking about it too. Oh, yes. Steph Curry, Paul George. Yes.
Paul George should not be there.
I don't care. AD's not up there.
Booker's not on it too.
Yeah. That
Wait,
makes
Mitchell
no
got on it?
sense.
Wait, is Mitchell even on it?
I don't think Mitchell
is not on it.
Is
They
Gobert,
put Beal up there?
Is
They
Gobert?
put Beal
He
over
averaged
him.
30.
Gobert was.
Gobert was 13.
He's the third center. He's gonna be up there. They put Beal up there. Wow.
Yeah, I mean Harden didn't make it either. That's crazy.
He missed
didn't
a
play
lot
enough,
of time.
right?
He missed a lot
That's
of time.
ridiculous.
KD didn't make it
Okay.
either.
LeBron didn't play a lot.
And he made second
Embiid
team.
didn't play a lot. He played first. team.
LeBron played 51 out of 72.
You had. I told you you had to play about 50 games to get in there.
Let me check.
KD didn't make it, right?
Yeah, KD didn't make it either.
So the Nets. Oh, Kyrie made one. Though, right?
Okay. Harden played 44 games.
Yeah,
this
I
season.
knew it. You had to play at least 50 to get in there.
I think LeBron played either 50 flat or like around 51, 52.
Kyrie is
And
a third
now
team.
Luka's eligible to sign a $200 million contract extension.
Yeah, Steph's gonna get that.
I think he already got it, didn't he?
No, he's about to get another one.
But
Wow,
he's
that's
not
crazy.
But Luka's about to be the first rookie to sign for 200.
Yeah, but Steph's gonna be the first guy to get two 200s.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's lit.
No, he's the greatest, bro.
That's lit. Okay.
And who cares? And then once the NBA's cap keeps going up, Luka's gonna get
This guy-
500 million
You see how he
one
tries to shit on Curry's greatness?
Uh-huh.
Hating, man. It's ridiculous.
It's just the way of the
Does Harden
times.
get money?
Of course, Harden gets money.
Does he get like Steph money though?
Yes.
He's
No,
a
he
max
doesn't.
player.
He does.
Yes,
But
he
I'm
does.
talking about the endorse. You gotta bring in the endorsements, a sneaker
You
deal.
got a point.
Yeah, Steph is like
But
the
I would give-
third.
whoa. Harden's shoes are nicer than Curry's.
Yeah, but Steph is get paid more. He's
Well,
actually only
because
behind
he's
LeBron
the,
and
he's
KD.
the only one on Under Armour. Of course he's going to get more.
Why are you counting a man's money? We're really arguing about who makes more money. I don't care about that.
I'm sorry. I just gotta one up you. You feel me?
So before we go into the next segment, we are going to talk about Manscaped for a bit because support for the Pick Aside podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, which I have in my hand right now. And you can join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code PICKASIDE at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with the sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I'm one of the first people to try this new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. When I was shaving with this thing, I had no fears about having nicks and knacks and cuts in my private parts. It's well protected. It has safe technology, so you don't cut your family jewels down there. So it's really great. And it says it right here, it has skin safe, replaceable blade technology. And it even has a 4,000K LED spotlight, so you can see where you're cutting. It gives a light. You can light up your thing. It's also waterproof, so I know a lot of people.
Light up your thing.
So they thought of everything.
Yes, and it's waterproof, so you can shave in the bathroom as well. And I think that's where a lot of people tend to shave, in the bathroom.
Oh, for sure.
It's the most comfortable.
Definitely.
And you can shave in the bathroom because it is waterproof. You can change the blades, and it has wireless charging. Well, no, this is wireless, but it also has wireless charging. And this is honestly just a great product. And with our code PICKASIDE, you can save 20% off, and they offer free worldwide shipping when you get it. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code PICKASIDE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code PICKASIDE, and unlock your confidence with Manscaped. I know Jordan ordered one with our code. I don't know if he's tried it yet, but I'll ask him next time. So Manscaped, shout out to Manscaped.
Shout out to Manscaped.
Shout out for real.
It's a great product. A lot of people have been sponsored by Manscaped before.
Really?
And yeah, it's a popular product.
Manscaped looking out for YouTube. Shout out.
You know that ever since Manscaped has sent us this, I go on Instagram and on Twitter and even on Snapchat, I get a bunch of Manscaped ads, sponsored ads.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They're always listening, bro.
Now on to this next basketball topic, the last basketball topic of this show. There was a report that came out about Luka Doncic and his desire to stay with the Mavericks long term. Today, he just made All-NBA first team, which means he's eligible for a $200 million rookie extension. He even said in a press conference, what do you think? Of course he's going to sign it. With a smile. He's going to sign it, no doubt about it. So even if his desire isn't to stay with Dallas long term, he's going to be here for at least 4+ years because of that contract, no doubt about it. But this article was written by two athletic journalists, Tim Cato and Sam Amick. And The Athletic is a trusted publisher.
I love it.
Yeah,
they are
a trusted publisher, so I'm not knocking this report, but Mark Cuban did quote tweet a tweet about this article and said complete bullshit. So he obviously thinks that this article is full of shit, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I read the article. It's not that long, but all people got to know is that Mark Cuban's right-hand man, his last name is Vulgaris. He was a gambler, and he was hired by Mark Cuban in 2018. And in one game, he sat courtside, and he told Luka to calm down and signaled like this with his hand. Luka got frustrated. He started back-talking him. They got into a back and forth. And Luka does not like this guy, but this guy is Mark Cuban's right-hand man. He's the director of quantitative research and development, which basically means he works for the analytics department. He makes decisions that he makes suggestions that influence decisions. Like the reason they got DeLon Wright and Seth Curry was because of him. on draft night in 2020, it was a complete disaster, according to this report, because this guy drafted Josh Green and Tyrell Terry without giving the scouting department any heads up that he was going to draft these guys. Wow. So they have called this guy the most influential voice in the Mavericks front office.
That's because he's Mark's right hand.
Yeah, because Mark Cuban is the most influential. Yeah, but this guy, since he's the right-hand man, he's the second. And they're just saying right now it's a power struggle between the Mavericks because of the front office. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Luka could potentially want out one day because of what's happening, this friction? And what team do you think he could go to? I mean, I have one in mind. I think it's the Knicks. I would love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you would love it. I suck. I think, I don't want this to come out like racist or anything, but I think what we've seen over the past with European players that find a home in a...
I don't think that's racist. Yeah. I wrote the same thing in mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're about to say.
I'll let you say it.
I think what we've seen from Europeans or, just people
players overseas.
Yeah, players overseas, they come, they find a home, they dominate at that home, they build the foundation here, they tend to stay for a long time, Hakeem, Dirk, guys like that. So I think with Dallas, Mark Cuban's a smart guy. I think we can all agree he's a very smart businessman. He's a smart owner. Dallas has been competitive, not recently, but they've been competitive over a stretch. I think he's going to make the best choice for Luka, and I think if he had an option of choosing Luka or his right-hand man, he's going to fire his right-hand man in a heartbeat. I think that's just Luka's a generational player. Yeah, he's good. I think he's going to be here for a long, long time. I don't think he's going to. That mockery of a franchise you said. I think he's going to be in Dallas for a pretty long time. I think Mark Cuban's going to assess the situation. But I think what it was Luka was just in a heated game. It was a high violence situation, and him telling him to calm down, it would make any one of us frustrated. They were probably losing at the moment. He's probably dumb tight. The refs, you know how Luka gets when the ref doesn't call the call. He thinks it's a call. He gets angry. He gets all red. He's all talking shit under his breath. So, he's probably frustrated, and it happens. But I think inevitably Mark Cuban's going to make the right choice for the franchise, and Luka's going to end up staying for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy too much into this, honestly. Obviously, like you mentioned, he talked about the contract already, so he's going to sign that. He's going to be around for another 4 or 5 years probably. But I just feel like you look at what he's done with the Mavericks so far. He's gone against a more than competent Los Angeles Clippers squad that has 2 star talents in this league that he, if not for Kawhi going and putting the Clippers on his back, Luka outplayed him for a good portion of that series. He was the best player in that series by far. You could debate both years. Luka was the best player against the Clippers or in the Mavs versus Clippers series in 2020 and 2021. So I think that they have a long time together to learn what type of players need to be around Luka to bring his game to that next level. You look at a guy like Porzingis, who I personally thought, I know Joel was a big fan of that trade on the Knicks end. But I thought that that Porzingis would have been a nice fit with Luka. You bring two decent sized guys, both that could shoot the ball. Porzingis obviously could shoot the ball relatively well for a big man, but we see that didn't work out because Luka is really ball dominant, and Porzingis needs the ball in his hands a little bit more to get himself going. But once the Mavericks realize that Luka needs shooters around him, similar to Tim Hardaway, he needs better defenders to bail him out on the defensive side of the ball because he's given 100% effort on the offensive side of the ball. And if there was one weakness of Luka, it'd definitely be his defense. So I feel like this is going to be a long-term thing. And as we've mentioned, European players do seem to take a liking to one squad and stick around. As recent as Giannis Antetokounmpo, who definitely had other options. He decided to stick it out with Milwaukee, and we see that it's paying dividends already 1 season after signing that contract. So I firmly believe that Dallas is going to make the right decision. They're going to keep Luka just like they did with Dirk Nowitzki. It's basically that situation reincarnated. So I'm not going to buy too much into it. Obviously, Luka is a generational talent, and they would be making one of the worst decisions in NBA history by letting him go.
I would love for Luka Doncic to go to the New York Knicks. And
why?
Because he would bring a championship.
Just
to
kidding, bro. Come on.
You know that before the draft, Luka was featured in this Bleacher Report video where it was him giving his prediction for his NBA career. And he said, in my first year, I want to dunk on Kristaps Porzingis, and I want to be the king of New York. So he said it before, so he takes a liking to New York. But then, he gave his 3-year prediction for his career, and so far, outside of winning a playoff series and being the king of New York, he's done all that. He's said he's going to be all NBA, eventually be the MVP of the league. He's done all that, so major props to him. But like you mentioned, if it's between Vulgaris and Luka, you're taking Luka because Luka is the player. He's the franchise player. He's probably going to be the best player in the NBA in a couple years if he's not going to be that in next year. I mean, he's that good. And I think also this is kind of more of a testament to Mark Cuban and how he runs the organization, because there is no doubt Mark Cuban has a ton of things going on outside of the Dallas Mavericks. He's on Shark Tank, for God's sakes. Now you see him all over promoting NFTs, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. I mean, he's all over the map with his investments and just making money, because that's what he is. He's a money maker. And because of that, he can kind of lose sight on what's happening in terms of the Mavericks front office. The Mavs have not won a playoff series since 2011, the year they won a championship. They have not won a playoff series since that time. And Rick Carlisle, because he won that championship, he's become immortalized. Kind of like Eric Spoelstra after he won with Miami. Nobody ever thought about firing him, even though Spoelstra, I think, is a better coach than Carlisle.
And he won more.
The thing about Carlisle, though, that year when they won the championship, his assistant coaches were really great. Terry Stotts was there. Dwayne Casey was an assistant coach on that team too.
The guy from the Rockets, Silas.
Steven Silas as well. So they had a good coaching staff, and I think Rick Carlisle to this point hasn't been exceptional. I thought the duo of KP and Luka would have been really great, mostly because they're both European. Maybe I stigmatized that duo a little bit too much. But if you remember in the 2018 draft, Luka, there were reports of him staying in Europe for one more year and coming out in 2019. I remember at that time, I told my cousin, the Knicks should sit out KP in 2019 and tank for Luka so we can have a duo of Luka or KP. I was thinking about a duo of those two in New York. Instead, they both went to Dallas. KP, not by choice, by trade. But I thought it would have been better, and I think KP hasn't been featured in the offense much, because he has regressed, but I think that Rick Carlisle also is catering to Luka too much. And I think you need a coach who can also stand his ground. And to this point, I think Rick Carlisle has been more of a coach that knows if he steps up to Luka, he's going to get fired. And he's just trying to save his job at this point. But I think you need a coach that is going to step up to Luka, because there are times where he doesn't pass the ball. There are times where he misses teammates. He still has to improve on his game. Not much, but he still has to. And I don't think Rick Carlisle is the coach for that. But I think Luka will stay in Dallas for a long time, because he's going to sign that extension for $200 million. And, I mean, 4+ years, a lot can happen in 4 years. They can build a contender around him in 4 years.
I think that's well said about the coach, actually, because just you saying that reminds me of The Last Dance, and I'm blanking on his first head coach.
Doug
Collins.
Actually, that wasn't his first.
No, but that's who I'm talking about specifically. That's who I'm talking about. Doug Collins, the way that he let Jordan complete. Here the ball. Here you go, Jordan. Do you?
Jordan didn't start winning until he stopped ball hogging.
100%. Phil Jackson said, "Listen,
winning chips or just winning in general?"
By adapting to a real offense.
Winning is winning chips.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
At least that's what you always like to mention when talking about Harden.
Well, yeah, you're right. Okay.
So regardless of that, Doug Collins is right now Rick Carlisle, where he's like, listen, Luka, we know that you're the guy.
Do what you
need to do to get us a W. However it is, even if you have 10 turnovers, I don't care. Just if you drop 40 and have 10 turnovers, I'm more than okay with it. That's not going to win you any playoff games, and clearly it hasn't done so up to this point. Granted, of course, Luka is young, but if we're looking towards the future, you need a disciplined a guy to discipline a group of guys like this. And that's only going to bring their game and bring it to a whole new level. So I 100% agree with that sentiment.
Do you guys think Rick Carlisle is
overrated?
Yeah.
I do think he's overrated.
At this point, they have a decent amount of I won't say he's overrated just because I feel like head office has a part of that too. Them getting rid of Seth Curry was a bad move. I mean, Seth Curry would have been enormous for them this season. Josh Richardson really didn't provide much for them. Philly's looking back on it, knowing that they stole from Dallas. If Seth Curry was there, you bring in another three-point shooter. Seth Curry's not an amazing defender, but he's a pretty solid defender too. That might have changed a little bit, but I feel like Rick Carlisle, he could do a better job of honing in on things, getting Porzingis involved in the offense a little bit more. I just feel like right now it's a super stagnant offense, but that being loosely because obviously Luka makes so many things happen on the court.
So that guy Vulgaris, when he got Seth Curry, he also got DeLon Wright. And at the time, he told Rick Carlisle to start DeLon Wright, and he thought he should be the starter next to Luka. And that only lasted one game, but from afar, these sources have told these two reporters that this guy Vulgaris controls a lot of the rotations that go out there. Like, he controls a lot of the things that are happening for Dallas on that end. So he has a ton of control in Dallas's front office, and maybe that's where the friction between Luka and the front office is coming from, because Luka, from what reports say, doesn't like this guy.
Yeah.
But now on to the NFL portion of the podcast.
And right on cue.
Yes.
There it goes.
We're going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings reworking Danielle Hunter's deal, and they also just signed defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson, which I think is going to be a good pickup. He's also a defensive end. He can play either, honestly.
Yep.
But first, let's talk about Danielle Hunter. So he signed they're going to give him a $5.6 million signing bonus this season, and next season they're going to give him an $18 million signing bonus.
Wow. And
the Vikings have three options. They can either sign him to a new contract next year, they can release him, or they can pay him that $18 million signing bonus because it's not due until the 5th day of the new league year. So I think this is perfect because if Danielle Hunter drops off a cliff and doesn't perform, or he has another injury, the Vikings can rid him from their salary cap, and now they free up a ton of money. But if he performs, now you give him a good contract and you pay him what he deserves. And this is also great for Danielle Hunter because if he's not getting that money from the Vikings, he's going to hit the open market and get it from another organization. So Danielle Hunter is guaranteed a big payday, and the Vikings are guaranteed future years, or at least this year, from Danielle Hunter. So I think this is a win-win for both sides.
Oh, I definitely do like this move. Danielle Hunter obviously is I would say an elite pass rusher. He's definitely one of the better ones in the league. Yeah, thanks, bro. I'm glad to have your input on this.
I tried to use the bathroom before we officially started the football topic, so you guys wouldn't be on me. But I heard you were still on me.
It was me, bro. If it makes you feel better.
All right.
But
wait, pause.
Okay, pause. Danielle Hunter, 100% solid dude. This contract makes 100% sense for Minnesota, like you mentioned. You take the chance on him this year, only $5 million signing bonus. You take that to the chin, and if he underwhelms you, which is definitely, I don't think it's a possibility. But obviously anything can happen in the NFL. Injuries happen all the time. That $18 million is definitely going to hurt if he takes a hit, but I don't see that happening. $18 million when you look at a guy like Leonard Williams, who's getting paid. Is it $21 million?
He's getting paid $20 million.
$21 million. Like you take that and you take it to the crib. Did you ask the question of whether the Vikings, or you just asked my opinion on the contract as a whole right now?
Your opinion on the contract?
Yeah, no, I on the contract, I love it from Minnesota's aspect, from Minnesota's perspective. Like I said, gives them some leeway. Definitely could benefit Danielle, but definitely benefits the Vikings overall.
He's a two-time Pro Bowler. He's the youngest player in NFL history to get 50 sacks. And he's a guy who wants to be paid with the Joey Bosa's of the world, Nick Bosa, eventually the Myles Garrett, the Khalil Macks. And I think he's worth that money. I think he's a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL right now. He could be top 3. I mean, this guy is the key for the Vikings, and to get him back in the building and playing is huge. And they just signed Sheldon Richardson, who played for the Jets. He was great with the Jets. Went to the Browns. He was pretty good with the Browns. He also played already for the Vikings in 2018. He was pretty good for them as well. And now their front four features Danielle Hunter, Sheldon Richardson, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Michael Pierce. And they also got a young guy in DJ Wooden, and they just drafted 2 young guys in Janarius Robinson and Patrick Jones II. So this defense looks
Solid.
good. Their offense, we know, is going to be good because they have Kirk, Jefferson, Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Irv Smith Jr. Do you think the Vikings will win the NFC North?
That's a tough take to say to win the NFC North.
Who's in front of them?
Well, as of right now, I got to say the Packers until eventually Aaron Rodgers obviously gets traded. I still think, them having Aaron Rodgers is going to put them at the forefront. I think it's a two-man race, though. I think the Vikings and the Packers, as of right now, are the two front teams. I don't think Chicago has enough, and obviously Detroit is the worst team in the NFL. So, but I think, with the new expanded NFL and it being more teams in the playoffs, I think they have a chance, especially with them having a high-octane offense, especially last year, because I know they're run-heavy with Dalvin Cook, but they still have Justin Jefferson. They still have Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins can still perform. And their defense, a lot of their guys was injured. You named one guy, Michael Pierce. He got hurt last year.
So did Danielle Hunter, Anthony Barr.
Yeah, so him coming back, they still have a lot of guys on that defense that can make big-time plays. So I think with this defense showing up every night, having their key contributors, being healthy is the first step. Their offense is going to show up every game. That's what they showed last year. They're going to put up numbers. They're going to put up stats. I think they have a chance to win the division. I don't think it's far-fetched to say it. I think they have a chance to win the division. They can definitely make a push in the playoffs. Everything just has to fall in place, and health is one of their biggest concerns because they weren't healthy last year.
No, I definitely think it's possible that the Vikings could win this division, but I'm basing it off of Aaron Rodgers' current situation. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, this division is wide open. I firmly believe so. You look at the Bears, who were a playoff team last year, even with two quarterbacks playing, give or take, all season. They flip-flop from Mitch back to Foles, back to Mitch again. So the Bears as a whole, where you look at them and you're not really impressed with them because of their quarterback talent. Their defense is still relatively solid. They did just lose Kyle Fuller, which is definitely going to hurt them. But they keep pretty much the same core that they had of last season. You look at the offensive side of the ball. You bring in Andy Dalton, who was pretty successful if you ask Joel on the Cowboys. He had a decent year with the Cowboys. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of Dalton's, I felt like every time I watched Dalton, there were some moments where he could have made smarter decisions with the football, or he could have just held onto it and taken a sack. Regardless of that, I think Dalton is an improvement from Mitch Trubisky. I feel like you have Justin Fields also for whenever he's going to take the reins from Dalton. He's going to step in. He's going to do a great job. You got a young core in Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller, and, of course, you just got Allen Robinson, who I'm pretty sure he signed the tenure, the franchise tag.
Yeah, he's in minicamp.
Yep,
he's good.
And I think that he's probably going to sign a long-term eventually and stay in Chicago. It wouldn't surprise me if he got traded, but I do believe that he will stay in Chicago, especially now that they've added Justin Fields. You give him some confidence there. But you look at the Vikings. I don't know if you mentioned that they added Pat Pete, but that just only adds to the secondary.
Alexander too.
You have oh my God,
Cameron,
the free safety Harrison Smith.
I
just blanked on him. Of course,
the young guy.
Is Anthony Harris gone?
Anthony Harris is gone, but they got Xavier Woods.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So
safety from the Cowboys,
which is firm, and then you bring in a seasoned vet and Patrick Peterson. This team is just revamped on all sides of the ball. They brought in some offensive line pieces. They drafted Christian Darrisaw, correct? I'm pretty sure that's who they took.
Yep.
The Chargers took Elijah Vera Tucker, correct?
No, the Chargers took Rashawn Slater.
The Jets took Elijah Vera Tucker.
Okay.
Correct. So I love the moves that they made this offseason. And like I said, if Aaron Rodgers is not on the Green Bay Packers, this division is wide open. 100%, I believe so.
I 100% disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the
wide
reason
open
part,
why
I disagree with you.
Is I'll get into this first. They also got Bashaud Breeland. That's going to be huge.
You're saying Minnesota.
Minnesota.
You're all in on Minnesota.
He's definitely
I'm all in on Minnesota this year. And just for my track record, 2 years ago, I was all in on Tennessee.
You want to do this? Wait, you sure you want to do this?
Yes, we can do this.
Okay. You were all in on Oakland. They didn't make it.
Oakland was 6-4 2 years in a row.
Okay, but they didn't make it.
They collapsed, though.
All right, so
That's
you were wrong.
They were a playoff. They were a
though.
playoff team at the time.
Oh my goodness!
I can't Las Vegas now. Let's address.
No, but you were
by
Oakland
their
at the
former name.
time.
Yeah, at the time, yeah, it was Oakland. They were 6-4. They just collapsed down the stretch. It's not my fault. That happens. But I'll say this: 3 years ago, when it was Trubisky's second year in the NFL. I said Chicago would make the playoffs. They went 12-4. 2 years ago, I said the Titans would make the playoffs. They went 9-7 or 10-6, one of those, and they won 2 playoff wins.
No,
I was
9-7.
all in on Ryan Tannehill. Last year, I called the Bucs win the Super Bowl right when they got Brady, I said they would win the Super Bowl. Before they got him, I said they'd make the playoffs. I knew they had a great and stacked roster. If Aaron Rodgers gets traded and Jordan Love is the starting quarterback for the Vikings, this division
Packers. Gotcha.
For the Packers, my fault.
That's all right.
This division 100% is going to the Minnesota Vikings, no doubt about it. The Lions don't have a chance. The Bears don't have a chance. The NFC North schedule is gruesome, and only the strong will survive. The Vikings.
You watch way too much Game of Thrones.
You've seen Minnesota's coaching staff. It's been questionable at times. I trust Matt Nagy.
You do?
I mean, compared to Zimmer,
Mike Zimmer has more playoff appearances. Has more playoff wins.
His team is better.
He makes a field goal. Matt Nagy gets on the board.
I agree, but I'm just going by Matt Nagy or Mike Zimmer. I mean, Mike Zimmer, he's a defensive specialist. His defenses have been top 10 in the NFL.
And
Matt Nagy is an offensive specialist.
But
his offenses have been abysmal.
Yeah.
And still made it work with Mitch Trubisky
because
and
their
Nick Foles.
defense is elite.
I'm with you.
That's the only thing.
But last year, Montgomery didn't take a leap last year?
He did.
He did.
He did. No doubt about it. But look, this is what I'm saying. If Aaron Rodgers does play for the Packers, I still have the Vikings winning the division. They're the best team in the NFC North. They're the most complete team. And I think their offensive line is going to take a jump.
I'm with you.
Brian O'Neill is a good tackle. Garrett Bradbury, hopefully he can be better. You have a guy they drafted in Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. You also got another guy, and I'm forgetting their other guard's name. I'm going to remember it in a little bit. But then you also drafted Christian Darrisaw. He's going to be good for them. So all around, I think the Vikings are going to be solid. Their offensive line is a good run-blocking offensive line. They're just not good in pass protection. If they can fix that up, they'll be better. But you look at their linebackers, Anthony Barr, Nick Vigil, and they have Eric Kendricks, their safeties, Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods, their corners, Bashard Breeland, Patrick Peterson, Mackenzie Alexander, who was really good for the Bengals last year. You have Cameron Dantzler still. I mean, their corners are stacked, and Jeff Gladney, who knows what's going to happen with his legal situation, but he's still a young corner who was a first-round pick last year. And their defensive line, Danielle Hunter, Sheldon, Pierce.
Do you think Sheldon's washed?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he can really make a good. He can,
especially with those other guys with him, Pierce and Hunter. I think he
and Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah, he'll be fine with what he needs to do.
I feel like Danielle Hunter needs to stay on the field in order for me to get on.
The Vikings' other guard is Ezra Cleveland, who was a rookie last year, didn't play too bad down the stretch. But they have all the ingredients to be a really good team, and I think they're going to be a lock to win the NFC North because I think they're the best team in the NFC North.
Yeah, I think when you said it's wide open, that was kind of ridiculous.
It's a three-team race.
It's not.
I don't think Chicago has a chance. Me personally,
I think with their quarterback situation and with Andy Dalton and like you said, losing Kyle Fuller, the schedule being gruesome in the NFC North, I think just the Vikings and the Packers have to be the two teams where it's like if Aaron Rodgers stays, obviously those are the two teams that are the most talented by far in the division. Those are the two teams with the most experience.
I just don't want.
The Vikings have a third-place schedule this year, and even their schedule is gruesome. I have them winning 10 games because that schedule is so gruesome. If they had an easier schedule, they'd be a 13-win team. But there's oh my gosh, I'll just pull it up right now because we'll go over the teams and you'll say it's going to be hard for them to win these games. And the Bears face most of these teams as well. The Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Browns.
That's the first 3 games?
Not the first 3. I'm just naming the tough ones.
I was going to say
that's crazy.
0-3 low-key.
The Cowboys are still there. They're not going to be bad. The Ravens, the Chargers, the Packers, the Niners, the Steelers, the Bears, the Rams, the Packers, the
Are you
Bears.
sure they're going to go 10-7?
Yes, they will. No, they're going to go 10-7. You're right. Yeah.
That schedule sounds ridiculous.
With Aaron Rodgers, I had the Packers going 9-8. So without
Why are you
him,
being so hard on the Packers?
because I just don't believe in him.
But they're basically the exact same team.
Corey Linsley's out. They don't have a second wide receiver.
But they
can't stop the running game.
They've shown that they don't need the second wide receiver. They've gone to 2 NFC championships back-to-back. Aaron Rodgers basically has backpacked them in that sense. Their defense is still relatively solid. I agree with you. Their run defense is lacking strongly. their secondary still lock up. As long as you have Jair Alexander, you don't have to worry about number
just
one.
a quick announcement. Embiid is also eligible for a Supermax.
Oh, good for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
But look, this is the Bears schedule. The Rams,
L.
the Browns,
L.
Rams will say,
the Packers,
L.
the Bucks,
L.
the 49ers,
L.
the Steelers,
L.
the Ravens,
L.
the Cardinals,
L.
the Packers again, the
Steelers,
Vikings,
relax.
the Seahawks,
L.
the Giants, no slouch,
Okay.
and the Vikings is going to be week.
It's just people have slept on the Bears in previous seasons. I'm
There's
just
a lot
not
of
going to
Ls.
sleep on them. I'm not going to sleep on them again because there's no way I could have gone into
What's
last
your
season.
team in football again? Denver, right?
Broncos.
Yeah, Denver.
I'm solid.
No,
Okay.
no, I just for some reason I completely forgot.
No, all good.
So I have the Vikings winning the NFC North 100%.
Okay.
I have if Aaron Rodgers. Oh no, he's probably gone. Yeah, I have the Vikings winning the NFC
if
North
Aaron stays, I'll lean Packers. If Aaron's gone,
easily. I'm
I
going Vikings.
think I'll lean Vikings.
I think they're both going to make the playoffs though.
The Packers and the
If
Vikings.
Aaron plays,
Because
I think they'll both make
I
the
agree.
playoffs.
Vikings definitely have a better roster than the Bears. I'm not arguing that. I just think the Bears have been surprisingly good over the last few years. So I'm not going to sleep.
What did you say? You said both. I only think one team out of the North is
I
making
said
it.
if I'm not gonna,
Because
I
winter
don't
is
think
coming.
Aaron. You gotta stop. You just gotta stop. You gotta stop with the winter is coming.
But look, the NFC West, just those are 4 playoff teams right there. Seahawks,
Correct.
Cardinals, 49ers, and the Rams.
I just can't say Aaron Rodgers is not gonna make the playoffs.
I don't think he
Go
plays with the
9 and
Packers.
8 though. No, you're
Yes.
saying if he were to be on.
I'm saying that's why I keep saying if he's still there. I can't say Aaron Rodgers isn't gonna make the playoffs. I can't. No way.
Are you going to pull up the schedule?
I'll
Yes.
say Russell
But
before I
it's
say
the
Aaron.
Packers, so it's not like they're.
I'll say Russell
Yeah,
before
but
I
look,
say Aaron. Wait, I'll say Arizona before I say Aaron.
Saints,
Okay, Packers win.
49ers,
Packers win.
Steelers.
Packers win.
Whoa.
They beat the
49ers
49ers.
49ers was
They
too
could-
easy.
yes,
You-
they
you
could.
Fully
said that-
healthy?
You said that
Yes.
too easily.
No.
Who's starting as their quarterback?
They've blown
Jimmy
them out.
Garoppolo.
Okay, there you go.
They've
I'm fine.
destroyed them repeatedly every
I'm
time they play
fine.
them.
They face Washington,
W.
Arizona,
Washington's
the Chiefs,
good.
the Seahawks, the Vikings. They'll split with the Vikings.
Okay.
The Rams,
Okay, they could beat
the
the
Ravens,
Rams.
the Browns,
Could beat
the Vikings again.
Browns are
I
good.
think
They
Aaron.
have a tough
I think
schedule.
the Packers can get 4 easy wins in the division, beating the Lions twice and beating the Bears twice. That's 4 wins right there
Bears,
alone.
Bears, I don't know. They play Chicago. Chicago
them
plays
tough.
Green Bay very tough.
But I think they can get if they can get those 4 and then split with Minnesota. I can't easily say Arizona's going to make it over them. You
Look
said
at
4
this.
teams in that
Look at
division,
this.
and the Saints are going to
East,
fall off.
NFC, yes. I don't think by that much, though. But NFC East is one team right there, even though they probably would have the worst record. But do you look at the NFC South? Tampa Bay is winning that division. Saints probably they're going to be in the playoff hunt. I don't know if they're going to make
They're
it.
definitely
But
gonna be in
that's
the hunt.
two. That's
It
two.
relies
That's
on
two
Jameis.
teams.
That's 3. right
NFC
there.
North, I have the Vikings, so that's 3. Then NFC West,
I think the Packers are better than
I think
Arizona.
the 49ers will win the West. That's 4. Now we have 3 more
spots.
teams to pick from. Are
What
the
about the
Rams?
Rams?
Are the Rams going to miss it with Stafford?
No.
Absolutely not. Then
You really
are the Seahawks going to miss it with Wilson?
wait. But
Maybe.
if the Seahawks, if you're picking the Seahawks with Russell, you gotta pick the Packers with Aaron, bro.
I agree.
The
They
Seahawks
just
aren't
went
that
to-
much better.
They just went
the
to
Seahawks are not that
back-to-back
much better,
NFC
bro.
Championship games.
Are the Arizona Cardinals missing it?
Are they better than
Their
Green
defense,
Bay?
Arizona's defense is still not.
Do you trust in Kyler that
Look,
much?
my playoff predictions are this. I
Okay.
have the Vikings,
Right.
Washington,
Okay.
Tampa Bay,
Mhm.
49ers, Rams, Seattle.
Okay.
I have them as well. And that tiebreaker is going to be between the Cardinals and Saints.
And Packers.
No, I don't have them there.
Crazy.
It's going to be a
The
tiebreaker
Saints?
between the Saints and the Cardinals. The Saints are not going to be bad.
No, they're not.
They're not going to be
They're
bad.
not.
You can't. I just don't.
But that's what I'm saying. How can you think the Saints aren't going to be bad when they just lost their quarterback?
Because everything else is still there.
And the Packers too, except Corey Linsley. But it's really not going to make that much of a
Because
difference.
I believe in Jameis Winston.
over Aaron Rodgers.
Not over
That's
Aaron
how you're
Rodgers.
making it sound.
No.
That's definitely
That's how
how you
you're
make it
making
The
it
Saints
sound.
roster is better than the Packers roster
sound. It's always been better.
But then why didn't they do anything last year?
because they choke in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
So then you're not gonna trust Aaron Rodgers in that situation.
I'm not saying I don't.
No,
but
yes,
I
you are.
also look. Last year, I'm not a wizard. Last year, I said the Packers wouldn't make the playoffs either. So I'm
Wow.
just not high on Green
and
Bay.
they shut you up.
I'm
Jesus
just not
Christ.
high
Matt
on
LaFleur
Green
is
Bay.
went to
way
the
better of
NFC
a coach than people give him
Championship.
credit for.
He is. Now we're gonna see what he does
So
without
wait,
Aaron Rodgers.
you
potentially.
said
I'm with you there.
the Packers weren't going to make the playoffs last year, and they jumped all the way to the NFC
NFC
Championship.
championship game.
That's tough. That flipped on you bad.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. They're not slouches. They don't need the wide
That's only if
receiver
Aaron
too.
stays, though, obviously.
Le'Veon Bell the other day. Sorry to switch topics so abruptly.
All good.
I thought you were going to say something like Key. You just switched the topic.
No,
Le'Veon-
his facial expression.
Yeah, like he was about to drop
he was
about to drop something crazy.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell called out Andy Reid the other day on some random Instagram post. It wasn't even a football-related post. He said that I would never play for Andy Reid again. I'd retire first. And Tyrann Mathieu responded and said people blame their lack of success on others. And he's like, that's the difference between me and others. And that's why I'm so successful. Basically, that's what he said. I'm paraphrasing
Talk
it.
Matthew.
So basically, I think this makes Le'Veon Bell look awful. I think, he left the Steelers, was horrible in the Jets, and it wasn't Adam Gase thing. I'm not going to say it wasn't. But you could obviously see Le'Veon Bell lost a step. He wasn't the same running back he was. He signs with the Chiefs, even though he had options with the Bills and the Dolphins to sign with them. But he signed with the Chiefs. He didn't get much of a workload. Andy Reid historically has fed the hot hand, and that was Damian Williams. Wasn't Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell. Daryl Williams. Yeah. So Le'Veon Bell basically said on Twitter, because he tweeted a bunch of other stuff about it, he said he doesn't regret what he said one bit because he believes Andy Reid lied to him about what his role was going to be on the Chiefs. What are your thoughts on this whole Le'Veon Bell calling out Andy Reid stuff?
I just think Le'Veon Bell has been the same since the Jets days. I think
Steelers days.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, he missed a year and then came back and played with you guys, played like garbage, and then ended up with the Chiefs. And I think, it wasn't even just there. I think the Clyde Edwards, I don't want to say his name wrong.
Hilaire.
He was much better. I think Le'Veon, even when he played, he didn't look good at all. I think one game he had -5 yards or 0 yards, 5 attempts. He's not good anymore. And the old Le'Veon we used to see in the Pittsburgh Steelers days when he was a beast in the run game and the pass game. I know he thinks he's still that, but in a situation like that where you're playing for a championship team, you have to understand your role. And I think Le'Veon Bell is a little bit full of himself, and his ego is a little bit too high where he didn't understand. The Chiefs are an ego guys. Patrick Mahomes, as great as he is, he's an ego guy. Travis Kelce, as great as he is, he's an ego guy. Same with Tyreek Hill. Le'Veon came into that situation thinking he was probably the best running back in the locker room.
Yeah, and not just football. He thinks he's a good rapper, too.
No, he's garbage at that, too. But no, he's really horrible at that. But yeah, I think he walked into a situation thinking, I'm going to come in and be that guy again. And the Chiefs aren't those type of guys. They're, like you said, a feed the hot hand. Even if we don't eat, if we win as a team, we're all eating. So it's like you coming in and trying to be that guy again when you're not that guy, it was kind of a bad thing. Even AB, who walked into Tampa Bay, he didn't walk in with that type of ego. He changed his mindset. He didn't care if he got the ball. He walked in just wanted to win. And I think Le'Veon Bell didn't really walk in and want to win. He wanted to be that guy he was again. And he's just not that. He sucks now.
I feel like he went into Kansas City thinking that the play call was going to be different. And when you look at what he was doing on the Jets, where every single play was in halfback dive, of course I can understand where he was thinking, I'm going to go to Kansas City with one of the best play callers in football, and I could revive my career like that. So I can understand where he could be upset. That being said, you keep that internal, especially when you played like butt. He played like trash. There was multiple games where you watched Le'Veon Bell, and it was an eighth of how he looked in Pittsburgh. He was not as effective on the ground, not as effective in the passing game. I don't even know if they looked his way in the passing game. What I thought, truthfully, was that you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was going to be that bruiser-type running back, and then you were going to have Le'Veon being that pass-catching type, because all his career, Le'Veon was dominant in the pass-catching side of the ball. That being said, you don't make comments about a guy who has been widely respected in the NFL for basically his entire tenure in the NFL. You have every single player that I've seen on the Chiefs right now say that they would take a bullet for Andy Reid. They love his coaching style. They've fully gone on board with his beliefs. And so to hear Le'Veon come out and say this basically after they have ran the AFC 2 years in a row was definitely shocking to me. And also at the same time, I just don't appreciate that, especially if your play wasn't there. If you had played, even decent, then I can understand you saying something like this. But when you rush for, like Riv said, under 5 yards in a single game, you really don't have a right to talk about a coach's coaching style really at all. So I'm not a fan of these comments. It really does sadden me because I love Le'Veon Bell. He was amazing in Pittsburgh. I respected his decision to sit out that year because he was one of the first to really put his foot down on the owners trying to really get his money. But unfortunately, ended up backfiring. He goes to the Jets, was horrible, unfortunately. Goes to the Chiefs, was horrible again. So it's just not a good look for Le'Veon.
I think Le'Veon Bell has unofficially retired because Andy Reid is one of the most respected coaches in the league. I mean, his coaching tree, Le'Veon is out of a job for 9 teams already right there. Pat Shermer with the Broncos, Matt Nagy with the Bears, Nick Sirianni with the Eagles, Frank Reich with the Colts. I could go on and on. John Harbaugh with the Ravens.
That's crazy.
Sean McDermott with the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, he has an extensive coaching tree, and you bashing Andy Reid is basically you putting yourself out of a job. And I think Le'Veon Bell, he's already 29. He's going to be 30 soon. We know that once a running back turns 30, they will never be the same. No team is going to pay him that money. He got his money with the Jets, and I think in hindsight it was a bad decision because the Steelers offered him 5 years, $70 million, I believe. He got 4 years, $52 million from the Jets. So he got basically the same amount of money, probably more guarantees, but he should have stayed with Pittsburgh because obviously the Jets wasn't a good fit if you were trying to win.
He was a beast.
He was by far and away the best running back in the NFL when he was on the Steelers.
Bro.
It was no question.
He really established that pass catch rushing.
He's the OG.
Yeah, he's
for
him.
Sure.
Dude fell off.
So on to this topic, Matt Nagy was on an interview with Chris Collinsworth and said that Justin Fields won't be the Week 1 starter. Nagy was quoted as saying this, and this was the clickbait quote. He said, Andy Dalton is our starter, Justin is our number 2, and we are going to stick with the plan. But the actual quote was, this was the full quote. I mean, Andy is our starter. Again, I can't predict anything. You know how it goes. There's so many things that can happen between today and Week 1. But Andy is our starter and Justin is our number 2, and we're going to stick to this plan. So he didn't rule it out because he said he can't predict anything.
Yep.
And Twitter, everybody started bashing Matt Nagy, and they started saying, fuck your plan. Your plan is stupid. Everybody started bashing Matt Nagy. And this is crazy because Justin Fields has not proved anything. Yes, he's talented, no doubt about it. But everybody's acting like Justin Fields is the second coming to Jesus Christ, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Like, I'm not saying he won't be good, but these expectations are so high, and quarterbacks don't have to play right away. You look at these quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Baker, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes,
Josh
Watson.
played right away.
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
No, he did not.
I thought he
Sure?
started.
Yes.
Positive?
He did not. I swear.
I thought he started day 1. I know. Young.
I know for a fact Mahomes didn't.
I know Lamar definitely didn't.
Lamar did not. He came in like week 6 because Flacco ended up getting hurt. Who else did you mention there? Baker. He started week 3.
Because Tyrod Taylor got hurt, or he was playing bad. One of those.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Josh Allen didn't start right away.
He started 11 games. Yeah. Damn. I thought he started right away. Felt like it.
That's your fault for taking me as a fool.
No, but starting ahead of him.
This is the thing. I think it was Matt Barkley.
Was it Tyrod?
No. It was Nathan Peterman.
What the? He sucks.
Was it Tyrod?
T-Mobile was the year before, if I'm not
Tyrod.
mistaken.
T-Mobile's
Tyrod,
such a tough name.
Tyrod wasn't
T-Mobile
there.
is very fire.
That is so
But
tough.
this is the thing. Like, if you don't got to start your rookie quarterback right away, don't start him. Let them sit. Let them learn the game. There is no pressure. At the end of the day, they're going to be good or they're not going to be good. We're seeing that with Tua. He threw 5 interceptions in camp today.
You didn't have to bring that up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on Thursday. Not today. But if you're good, you're good. And do I believe Justin Fields will be good? Yes. But does he need time to develop? Yes. They have a good coaching staff in Matt Nagy, John DeFilippo, and Bill Lazor. Good quarterback room in Dalton and Foles. He has the right tools to be successful. You don't have to rush him in, especially I was naming you guys the gruesome Chicago schedule this season. You don't want Fields' confidence to totally shatter against these teams So I think there's no reason to start him right away. I don't know why everybody's upset by this. Let him learn. Let him sit. When he's ready, he's going to be ready.
Justin Herbert, he didn't start right away, right?
He didn't. He started because Tyrod Taylor got injured out of nowhere.
A heart murmur or something like that. He had
Yeah,
something wrong
because
with
the
his heart.
doctor.
So I think
did
what was
that.
it? Joe Burrow was the only one who was like, all right, you have to start. Like,
Yeah, they had no other quarterback.
yeah. So like, in a situation where you have a guy who's experienced, he's been to the playoffs. You know, he has a lot of experience under his belt. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He has experience. You know, Andy Dalton's he's an all right quarterback at this moment in his career. So I think if you have a chance to do that and let Justin Fields learn, and you don't have to throw him in the Lions den right away, week one, I think you have a chance to do that. We've seen quarterbacks do it. I feel like even with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua didn't get I feel like he still got thrown into the fire a little too early.
Rushed way
But
too
still,
fast.
they waited and they didn't throw him in early. Justin Herbert was going to wait. Thank God he didn't because we seen how great he was. But he was going to wait. But then T-Mobile obviously got the little injury. But I think quarterbacks, I think this draft is we're going to see a lot of waiting. Aside from like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, I think Trey Lance is going to sit. We know Kellen Mond's going to sit. I think Mac Jones, bearing any Cam Newton injury, Belichick was talking high on him. I think Mac Jones is going to sit.
Trey Lance is going to sit.
I said that.
Yeah, he said it.
Repeated me. The Kyle Trask guy, he's not that good, but he's obviously going to sit. You know, so I think a lot of quarterbacks are going to sit. So
Davis
He just did his thing
Mills.
right here.
whoever that is, he's going to.
He just had to throw that in
Yeah.
there. I don't know who that is.
He's a quarterback for the Texans.
Okay.
Where he get
He
picked at?
played out of Stanford. He got picked in the second.
To who?
No, he got picked in the third round to the Texans.
Okay.
Dope.
Tyrod Taylor started.
Oh, so
there,
he's
though.
starting.
No, Tyrod Taylor
Oh,
started.
T-Mobile's
with the Texans.
back.
T-Mobile
He's
is
on the
back.
Texans.
T-Mobile for Houston,
Uh-huh.
Texas,
Yeah.
T. Got it. Word. Yeah, a lot of these quarterbacks are gonna sit. So I don't see Matt Nagy knows what he's doing. You know, so I don't see a problem in it. I think
Ian Book.
who's Ian Book? Yo, we picked up Jamie Newman.
You released him already.
Oh damn!
Oof.
Yeah.
You told me he was like a beast, man.
No, I said he has the physical tools,
Ah.
but he's not a good football player.
Uh-huh.
He's not a good thrower, but he has all the physical tools.
Ah.
Ian Book played for Notre Dame. He was in the college football playoffs this past year.
What's your expectation of him?
Not going to be that good, honestly.
Okay.
I don't have much faith.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm a big supporter in letting the guy sit the year.
I agree. I think unless you like in Cincinnati, where you absolutely all right, bro, you have to like play.
Yeah.
From day one, you play him. Unless you have a god like Andrew Luck or like Peyton Manning or something like that,
I'm with
then
you.
you play him
Yeah.
like
How dare you compare him to the seven gods of the kingdoms that rule?
yeah. This guy
You wouldn't
cringes
last
it.
one day on the wall, bro.
Yeah.
Not one
You
day.
wouldn't. They'd kill you.
Yeah,
bro.
nah,
You
you're
talk too
gone,
much.
bro. But if Mahomes could sit basically a full season, there's no reason why Justin Fields, who was not even the third
I'll slap
quarterback taken,
Oh.
you know what I mean?
You're just gonna say
I'm in.
something else.
I'm in on
He
Justin
was the
Fields.
third. No,
No, he was
He was
fourth.
the
Yeah,
third.
you're
Oh,
right.
he was fourth.
I
Damn.
want. I know,
Who was he?
I know,
Who in
bro.
front of him? Lance.
Lance.
Oh, Wilson.
Reddick.
Lawrence.
Wow. Damn.
Bro, Broncos folded. I mean,
You gotta
in
stop.
hindsight, the
you
fact
gotta stop.
we
Give it
should've
up.
took him.
Stop. Just go back with the topic. I don't want to hear about the Broncos.
You see, you're saying that because you know the Eagles are butt. That being said, yes, 100%. I'm with Matt Nagy. You don't need to rush Justin Fields in, especially when a bunch of scouts feel like his game needs to still be refined a bit. You bring in a guy like Dalton who could teach him the finer things of the game. So I'm not too against it. Truthfully, I really support Matt Nagy on this one.
Yeah, I do too, and I think everybody's overreacting, talking down on Matt Nagy, but he has been to the playoffs
He's been
2 out of the
successful.
last 3 years. He's been good with them so far. Let him build this team the way he wants to build it. He did not draft Trubisky, but he drafted Fields, traded up for Fields. So let Fields develop, let Fields learn, be patient, and we'll see when he plays how good he really is.
I think he's the best player in the league.
And now on to the last topic in this episode.
You were about to speak in Game of Thrones. That's why you stuttered just now.
No, that's
Yes,
not
you
why.
was.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you was.
ESPN is projecting the New York Jets to be the worst team in the NFL. And are they right or wrong in this projection? They think they're going to have the first overall pick next season. What are your thoughts on this? I think this is buffoonery.
I disagree. You know, I think you guys have made an extreme adjustments to your team. I think you've bulked up your offensive line. I think you got a new quarterback. Thank God Darny Boy wasn't it. I think you've got some help on the defense. And I think there's just a lot of teams that are worse than you guys. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, we're worse than you guys just because of the fact that We don't have a good quarterback, in my opinion. Our receiving core is very shaky at
You're
best.
asleep.
And no, you're asleep.
Devontae Smith,
Yeah, him, but who else?
Jack
Jalen
Hurts.
Rager.
Oh my God, you're still high on that.
Jalen
Jalen
Goddard.
Rager's not bad.
He's a
I don't know.
punt return.
Bro, he's
anyways, can I talk?
Let
Can I
him
talk?
let
Can I talk?
him
Can I talk?
let him play his second season.
And Philly gets hurt a lot, and then you got the Lions. They're god awful. I think you guys will be way more better than I think Houston with the Deshaun Watson situation. I think you guys could definitely be better than them. I don't think you guys are. I think you guys are going to be in a lot of games. You're going to be in competitive games. I just don't think you're going to win a lot. But I don't think you'll be the worst team in the NFL, especially with your new coach, new culture, new vibe. Like, it's just new energy in the Jets arena. So I don't see you guys being the worst. Definitely the Lions are going to be the worst.
I don't hate this projection. I personally don't believe that they're the worst. But I do understand it. They're a young squad. Zach Wilson is probably going to be shaky his first rookie year. I do believe in the future that he'll definitely be significantly better than what he's going to do this year. I like the weapons that they have. I feel like they definitely need a stronger wide receiver one, even though I do like Corey Davis. I feel like you need a notch above him. Elijah Moore could be that guy. I'm with you.
He's been
here you go.
awesome in training camp.
Listen,
Isn't he playing Jets quarterbacks?
And that's where I was going to go next. Your secondary's still spotty. You got Marcus May, but other than that, you really don't got much on the secondary
Jason
side.
Pinnock.
Listen, bud, you're not going to convince me, unfortunately. Your defensive line.
They play you guys this year, too.
Yeah, they're going to get smoked, especially when we got Rodgers. He knows it. But on the defensive line, Quinn Williams, he's definitely the guy on that defensive line that really, it pops out to you on a page.
Carl Lawson, too.
Carl Lawson, that was
Sheldon
a really good
Rankins.
pickup. That's another good pickup. But your linebackers need some help. Not a fan of that linebacking core. I just feel like as a whole, the team's too young. I like the core for the future for sure, but just going into this season, I don't hate the projection. I feel like Jets fans obviously see that they're projected the worst, and they feel like that's disrespect. It's really not. It's not too disrespectful.
It's disrespectful because this season we're going to be flying high, not crashing low. And the Jets made a ton of additions. Sheldon Rankins, Carl Lawson, Gerard Davis, who a lot of other teams were very high on. Former first-round pick, goes to the Jets. We're going to use him right with Robert Saleh. Corey Davis, LaMarcus Joyner, Vinny Curry from the Eagles, C.J. Mosley is coming back. Corey Davis, Tevin Coleman, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore. I mean, we got guys. And we also drafted Michael Carter, running back out of North Carolina. We got guys. And on top of that, Zach Wilson is going to be a star player, no doubt about it. He's gonna throw for over 20 touchdowns in his rookie season, no doubt about it. Because Zach Wilson is that guy, BYU, bringing him young. He knows he's a baller. Zach Wilson, to me, is the best quarterback in this draft, no doubt about it. I'm not saying that because I'm a Jets fan. I'm saying that because I understand the game and I understand what I see in Zach Wilson.
Hey, let me break this down for you. I'm going to shoot you your schedule real quick. Just tell me when the L. Okay?
Let me just tell you this first. Aaron Schatz from Football Outsiders projected the Jets to be the worst team in the NFL and have the first overall pick. This guy will be wrong. And he even admitted that 7 teams projected to finish with the top 10 pick over the past 3 seasons have made the playoffs. Do I think the Jets will make the playoffs? Absolutely not. But will they be the worst team? No. The number 1 and number 2 overall pick next year will be the Lions or the Texans. It's going to be one of those. One of them will have 1, one of them will have 2. It's going to be between those 2. Those will be the worst 2 teams in the NFL, the Lions and the Texans.
Okay. You play the Panthers.
That's a win. Week 1.
Yeah.
Darnold Boy's throwing 5 interceptions.
Yeah, it's definitely week 1. Then we got Patriots.
Loss.
Denver.
Loss.
Titans.
Loss.
Falcons.
Win.
Okay. Patriots.
Loss.
Bengals.
Win.
Colts.
Loss.
Bills.
Loss.
Dolphins.
Well, win. Is that at home or away?
It's at home. It's
I'll
We'll
give you
win.
a
We'll
split.
split.
I'll give
We'll
you a
split.
split.
Texans.
Win.
Philly. It's at you guys though.
Win.
Yeah. Saints
Loss.
at home. Dolphins back in
Loss.
Miami. Jaguars.
Win.
Bucks.
Loss.
Bills.
What week is that?
End of the week. End of the year.
We'll win because they'll rest the starters.
So it sounds like you'll have a comparable, like you'll have a good record.
I'm predicting this to go.
He was being generous with some of these.
I'm projecting the Jets to go 6-11.
I don't see that. I don't think that's far fetched.
It's a little too high in my opinion. Listen,
I think the Jaguars could be worse than them.
I don't mean to sound disrespectful towards the Jets. I like their future. I do like their future.
No, I'm screaming.
This season, I'm not in. I'm not in yet. You get Salah's first season. Give him another year to really get the culture the way that he wants it. I'm sorry if this is upsetting you, bro, but I'm being real.
No, I'm telling you, the Jets are going to surprise people. Zach Wilson specifically.
I'm not sleeping on Zach Wilson. I do believe he is built like that. He is a future superstar in this league. I just don't think it's right away. You saw it with Josh Allen. You saw it with, Baker Mayfield's actually the opposite, where he was amazing, then he was kind of but then he was good again. I would say Lamar was pretty solid his rookie year. I'm trying to think of rookies that were kind of mediocre their rookie year. I guess Goff was kind of
Josh Allen.
Well, that's the first name I said. Carson Wentz. I mean, I guess he was kind of.
He was average.
Yeah, right.
He was average, very average.
Tua was terrible. We'll see what happens this year, but that's besides the point. Well, I do believe in this Jets team in the future. I just don't. I don't think that it's that far fetched. Not really. They're too young to really make some noise.
I think it is. I think Aaron Schatz is going to eat his words.
Okay.
I think you will eat your words.
I might, and I'd be willing to shake your hand and say I was wrong.
And you will become a believer in the light God.
You said a few wins there. Jaguars are going to be better than you guys this year.
You think so?
I do think so.
It's debatable.
That's
definitely
the Jaguars
debatable.
had a better offseason than you guys did, and we've spoken about that.
They also have a rookie
Slightly.
QB though, just like them.
I agree, but I feel like they did a lot more to hone in on Trevor being the future.
I got to see their schedule.
Fair enough. I just feel like that game in particular.
They're definitely going to be better than the Lions in Houston.
And the Falcons, too. You gave them a W. That was generous.
I don't think it is. I mean, the Falcons have a head coach right now who was a great offensive mind when he had a great running game. Mm-hmm. The Falcons will not have a great running game because they don't have an offensive line.
Okay.
They're going to be pass heavy. Their defense is still not going to be good.
Throw it to Ridley every play.
So,
did you think the Panthers' offensive line? I have a point here. Did you think the Panthers' offensive line last year was good?
It wasn't.
Mike Davis, same situation, comes to the Falcons. Their offensive line's really not that good. I have faith in. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 running back. I just think he'll be
he'll be okay.
Yeah,
he'll
sure.
be okay.
And especially when you pair it with Julio's gone, you got Pitts, you got Ridley. I mean,
that's it.
Opens up the run game for you.
I mean, I think slightly, but I really don't have much faith in the Falcons doing much.
I feel like their offense, though, last season, I feel like we're going off topic.
Without Julio,
really,
though?
Agreed, but Kyle Pitts is obviously a poor man's Julio Jones, similar build. There's no reason why he can't put up superstar numbers.
He will. He will.
I just feel like last year Atlanta's problem wasn't offense; it was defense, and I just think that
they did nothing to fix that.
Agreed. But when they're playing you guys, is that really going to be that much of an issue? We're going to find out.
It's not, but we play them in London.
Okay.
So they don't even have home field advantage.
Oh, it's in London?
Yeah.
Dope.
That's pretty lit.
Dope.
Okay.
So this is going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side podcast.
Yes,
this was episode 92. Right now, the Nets and Bucks game is going on, so I'm going to make this quick. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. And if you guys want to, you also could review our podcast on Apple Podcasts and raise our rating up, because that's how these ratings go. You know, fuck ratings. Fuck rankings. That's what Dame once told me, and Steph Curry. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.